listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics.
Hey folks, good evening, excuse me. And thanks so much for joining us here for the 2024 Calvin and Kalamazoo matchup. I never thought I'd be saying this. I'm Tanner White. Kalamazoo football class of 2022 on tap for tonight is, with very little hyperbole, one of the most historic football games in the history of the MIAA. We're going to get into that real quick, trust me. We've got another elevator pitch to deliver. I'm joined by Sean Massa, and take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time with Kalamazoo and Calvin, so excited to be here. You know, you hear about the prowess of D3 football, and I'm from the eastern side of the state in the Detroit area around the thumb of the mitten. So to come all the way out to Kalamazoo, experience this atmosphere we're seeing today, this crowd, this tailgate, everything going on, I mean, it's definitely something that I've never experienced before in the college athletics world, and it's definitely opening an eye. This game is going to be a fun one, but I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Tanner.
It is a pleasure. I also had the pleasure of talking with Kalamazoo head coach Jamie Zorbo during warm-ups earlier this evening. We talked about last week's 55-0 trip out to Manchester, where Kalamazoo took care of business, as well as the historical implications of tonight's game with Calvin. Let's hear what Coach had to say, and by the time we come back, we'll be just about ready for National Anthem, then hop right into kickoff, still on track for the 6:30 kickoff here in the Zoo. Hey folks, you know the deal by now. Tanner White talking with Kalamazoo College head coach Jamie Zorbo down on Angel before kickoff. There are a lot of vivid verbs for what went down last week at Manchester, but I'll save those for game time. You know how I like to do that. It was a 55-0 win and what felt like a complete game across all three phases in some ways to me. However, your old defensive coordinator from 2018 to 21, and one of my favorite coaches, Eugene Jones, always used to say, the film's never as good or as bad as you think it is. You still agree with that sentiment?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I told the team after the game, is that there were some takeaways from that game, both good and bad. And, there were definitely some glaring things that we need to work on. And those have been a focal point this week. I wasn't very happy with some of the personal foul penalties, especially going into that game. That was a point of focus going into that week. We knew it was going to be an issue with that team that we were playing. And, we let our emotions get the better of us a couple of times. I thought our kicking game could have been better. We didn't execute very well with punts and kicks. And we missed a PAT, the very first PAT of the game. So those kinds of things need to get cleaned up, especially now that we're heading into conference play. We need to be sharper on that. But, defensively, I mean, you can't play much better. I mean, the guys did a great job. Anytime you shut out any team, I don't care who it is at the college level, I mean, that's a feat. And that's not easy to do at the college level. And thought our defense played really, really well. And then offensively, started to show some signs of life, started to get some rhythm, which we desperately needed. And we really pleased the way we spread the ball around to a lot of different people. I think we had 6 different guys score. And that's great. We needed that. We got most of the guys on the team in the game. And all in all, it was a great win for the Hornets. And, it was back to the drawing board the next day on Sunday, trying to get better for this start of league play.
As it always is. Let's parse through the many layers of history on the line tonight. The Calvin Knights in town for the first time ever. But I want to start with this. The first night game on Angel Field since September 1960. What does that mean to you, the program, this school, and how cranked up is everybody around here?
I honestly, I really can't put it into words for you, Tanner. This has been this is what's happening is everything I envisioned it would happen if we were ever able to get a night game. There's a lot of excitement around this game for both schools for different reasons. Obviously, both fan bases are fired up. Hopefully, we'll get a ton of Kalamazoo College students at the game, and our parents are fired up. Our players are fired up. To be able to play under the lights, it's not something that happens often at the college level. Obviously, it's symbolic of high school football, Friday night lights. And it kind of, there's a little nostalgia when you play under the lights, and it's kind of cool to be able to bring that to Kalamazoo College for the first time in a long time. And challenge now is we need to perform.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Now peeling back another layer of history, year 130 of Kalamazoo football, year 1 for the Calvin program. Both of you now reside in the MIAA, the oldest conference in America, as you and I know, and you're matching up for the first time. Have you had a moment to reflect on the larger context of this game, or do you think that'll hit after the game a little bit?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it that much. I'm sure that'll hit later on. It is a piece of history, and we get a chance to be a part of it, and hopefully it's definitely something that we can chalk up in Kalamazoo College's favor, but haven't given too much thought. Been focused on just trying to figure out how to beat Calvin.
And that's exactly what we expect of you and your meticulous game planning, Coach. We got to talk about the man on the opposing sideline before your last home game with Kenyon, being Coach Ian Good, your former player. I believe it's crucial to do so tonight as well. Trent Figg created this Calvin program from zero, brought in a full coaching staff, 2 huge classes of recruits. He's led an utterly inspired team through 3 weeks. What are your impressions of Coach Figg and the work he's put in just to get his team here?
I have a ton of respect for him. He's done an amazing job. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to recruit. He's got a great energy, great personality. He's a good guy, and he's got his team playing really, really hard. He's got a good mixture of some transfers and then obviously a ton of first years and second year players. And they're playing extremely hard, and they're 2-1 heading into today. So he's got that team believing that they can win and win often here early on in their program's history.
He's also got his team putting up big offensive numbers, as you no doubt know. Lastly, as always, Coach, we come to the keys to victory tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm just going to speak generally for our team. I think we have to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's going to be critical. We have to continue to take care of the football and capitalize on turnover opportunities. They haven't turned the ball over much. We haven't turned the ball over much either, and we definitely need to keep doing that on our end. And we've been able, both defenses have been able to create turnovers. So I think the turnover battle is definitely going to be key in the outcome of this game. And then special teams. Special teams is going to be critical, and we have to play a lot better than we've been playing in the recent weeks. Execute at a higher level, execute the kicks that we aim to execute when we call a play, and just go out there and cover down and not give up any big returns, and maybe create a momentum play or flip the field. Those are really critical in a game like this.
For the first time since 1960, I'm able to say good luck tonight, Coach.
Thanks so much, Tanner. Great to be here. Thanks for being here and doing this for us.
As always.
And we just had the national anthem. You just had it straight from the source. Kalamazoo head coach Jamie Zorbo. 6:27 p.m. here in the zoo. What a debut game you've chosen here, Sean, at Kalamazoo College.
Yeah, I mean, this crowd is insane. At the moment I pulled in, I saw the atmosphere, not only from the Kalamazoo side, but the Calvin side as well, showing out, and it's D3 football at its finest. You always hear about the rivalries in D3, and you think to yourself, they can't be that big. Well, we're seeing the birth of a rivalry here on the football field. The first ever meeting, and my goodness, you couldn't play in front of more people for the first time.
I'm glad you said it, the birth of the rivalry. Year 1 of many, many to come. Take a look at what these teams did last week. Kalamazoo traveling to Manchester, a 55-0 throttling, but Calvin, 2 weeks out of 3, putting up 60+. They dropped 66 on Anderson last week, a 66-12 win. One name that I really, really am interested to watch, Luke Mishmerheisen, the #1 receiver on the night side, 6'7", 222. That is the mismatch in the post that everybody points to.
Yeah, I mean, and one name I'm looking at when you look at the Calvin depth chart is it's a lot of freshmen, obviously, the first year of the program, but you look at the quarterback position. Chase Bradman is a transfer from Indiana Wesleyan in the NAIA. That, if you don't know anything about NAIA athletics, is an absolute wagon of a program. That is a program that produces talent every single time. They get to big levels in the national tournament, most recently in the Final Four last year, and this year already ranked in the top 10 again. That's a team that produces, a program produces, and a veteran quarterback leading a young team with the head coaching prowess that Calvin possesses in year 1. It's an interesting, very interesting recipe.
Coach Trent Figg coming over most recently, a senior offensive analyst with Oregon. Led some of the most fabulous offenses the country's seen really in recent years. Even got to work with Bo Nix over there, who's now, working his way as the Broncos starter, trying to kind of find his way in the league. That's a tough assignment there with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, had a pretty impressive week 3, though, and you're seeing already that knowledge that Coach Figg brings to this Calvin team. You work at that level. You work with that level of talent, that level of offensive analysts and offensive prowess, and you're seeing already with this Calvin offense, 3 weeks in, they've dropped 60-plus 2 times. I mean, they got some prowess. It's going to be a bit of a task for Kalamazoo to try to stop Calvin and really maintain the pace of this ballgame.
You nailed it. Calvin just about ready to kick off. The Hornets' 2 deep return men, as they have been the last couple of weeks, Jonas Bates and Lucas Hannafin. Also Kalamazoo's 2 leading receivers, 19 and 13 catches to their names apiece, and both around that 200-yard mark.
You can feel the tension in this place getting ready for this kickoff. I mean, we talked about the birth of the rivalry. It's been in almost every sport for these 2 teams, but now you add it on the football field. You go over to the famous football field, 100 yards, and here we go. This is fun.
Absolutely it is. Football's supposed to be fun here, folks. Remember that. Evan Raymond has it teed up. Oh, my goodness. Don't do this to us right now. Resetting the play clock. Not right now. Evan Raymond, as he has it teed up, is a freshman, goes 6'3", 188. We've also seen Sal Rufino in at kicker for the Knights.
Just listen to this place, man. We're off and running.
Raymond to send it into the night in Kalamazoo. Fielded by Lucas Hannafin. Hornets returns, got some legs. Hannafin dragging a couple tacklers and a pile up at the 35. Plus return, right, beyond the touchback spot.
And now if you're Kalamazoo, you go into this game with, I think, a simple mindset. It's a young Calvin team. It's obviously the first year, a lot of freshmen, about 90% of the roster nearly. You want to maintain the pace. You want to make them have to think on their toes. You want to make them do uncomfortable things on the defensive side of the ball especially. So very interested to see what they drop.
Lucas Hannafin is officially credited with a 19-yard return out to the 36. Good spot to start for the offense. They start in split backs, and they're going to hand it to Nate Clark, the tight end. And that's a great carry on the first down. Clark's got a little bit of a running back background first couple of years. Showed it off.
It's a good look right there. You get two backs in a sense on each side of the hip of the quarterback, and you really make the defensive ends and the linebackers push in on one side and pick their poison. And right there, it opened up a beautiful lane. Great blocking on the outside as well by the receivers.
Kalamazoo goes 3-1 away. Now they motion Nate Clark to the field side, the wide side of the field. Josh Nichols back for a first pass attempt. He skipped it in there. Is it incomplete or intercepted? Those are your 2 options.
I believe that short hopped right into the linebacker, but caught a break right there because I think it's simple what Nichols was looking for. I think he was looking for the receiver to stop in the middle of the soft zone coverage, and he kept on going like he was running a flat. I believe it was a choice route and just not on the same page right there, but that's lucky.
Indeed it is. You dodge a bullet a little bit. Dylan DeHoop there on the coverage. A freshman goes 6'1", 195. Now they'll go 3-1 with the receiver set to the field. Rather, 3-2 empty. And they got a ton underneath. Clark stumbled. Now you got 2 flags out as well. Andrew Munger sliding over to center on that Kalamazoo offensive line. And it's down back near the quarterback somewhere. I am thrilled to have the officials' microphones on. You don't always get them, or sometimes they're a little bit funky. We heard that one clear. Hands to the face.
That's big time. I mean, but you've seen that 3 safety high set that Calvin likes to bring out, and that opens up the small side of the field. It's an interesting set to bring on what was a 3rd and 3 situation. You don't necessarily see, hey, let's play back, let's give them nearly the first down on the flat. And they're lucky. If there's no hands to the face right there, Hannafin slipped, that's 4th down and 1 from your own side of the 50, you're probably punting early on.
Yeah, most likely. Oh, and another penalty. Are they tacking on at the end of this?
Just like that, you go from nearly 4th and 1 on your own side of the 50 after falling down on the out route to on the plus side of the field nearing the 40.
A little quads, 4-1, out to the boundary. Nichols empty again, and movement might, be able to chuck it. you have some sort of call on most likely whenever that receiver notices it to just run vertical and chuck that thing, right?
Yeah, it looked like a free play. I can't believe they blew it dead quickly. Part of me's thinking this might go the way of the Knights due to the fact they blew it dead. No, they're just going to give it to him. But, yeah, talk about the free play right there. That would have been pretty nice for your first score of the game in front of this sold-out crowd. Free play touchdown, Aaron Rodgers style.
Absolutely. He is and always will be the master. I hate to credit him ever, but truly the best, in my opinion, that anybody's ever seen do that.
You and me both, but that's a good break for Kalamazoo again. Just like we talked about, young Calvin team, they're making them think a little bit.
Same set. Now they motion Riley in to hand it to him, and it was the first and short. Now the run doesn't go much.
But I love that play design right there. They ran that same quad set they brought on first down on the free play. This time they motion in the slot receiver into the backfield, and it opens up the zone because right there Calvin's not thinking anything run, and you put one in, the box is unstacked, you get a few yards, it's second and maybe 2 at most.
And, of course, it was Sheldon Riley they moved in, the leading rusher, so no secrets to it. They go RPO. First one for the game. Little wide of Hannafin, incomplete. Still third and really short, though.
Yeah, but that was a great read right there by Nichols. I mean, Hannafin had the edge, had the outside leverage on the DB in coverage. I mean, just in and out of the hands. It's unfortunate, but early on you're seeing Nichols and his receivers not necessarily on the same page quickly. You got to get that connected quickly.
You do. Back in the split backs here on the third and short. Hand it back for Clark, left side, trying to end it with a truck. It's going to be close.
What a read by the DB. That's Dylan DeHop, the freshman. I mean, that's perfect. That's discipline right there in the open field from Calvin.
Fourth and way short. Surely you didn't think we were going to get through an entire drive without drama, did you? Nobody's out there covering space. If they could have got that snap, free touchdown. Movement again.
All right, the pointing game now. Which way do they go? This is big.
This could decide so much more than we know on the first drive.
If this goes one way, you're punting. This goes the other way, you're nearing the red zone. This is a big call.
2 offsides on the drive.
It's a young team. We talked about it. Young. Make them think. Make them uncomfortable. It's exactly what you're doing. Get them in uncomfortable situations. 3rd and 1 nearing the red zone. That's uncomfortable for a defense. They want that big stop to kind of propel and get the offense on the field. But you make them jumpy. You make them a little bit too hyped up to play this game. And just like that, you're near the red zone. And you've been gifted, 20, 30 yards?
Yeah. First downs on penalties. Absolutely killer. A double stack look for Kalamazoo. Little switch up. On the first down and 10. Nichols flushes right. Pumps. Wants to go for the end zone. Overshot.
And he had it right there, too, because, I mean, that's a weird coverage situation from Calvin, but a little miscommunication right there because you look at it, number 15, Caden Kolanowski, he had no idea where the receiver was and last minute had to go to it. If that's right there on the backside shoulder, it's an easy touchdown for Spates.
You're probably going to have chances to get this thing back, especially when they go single coverage on Spates. They do show the 3 high safeties here. Nichols to go RPO, screen for Hannafin. Great couple of moves. Hannafin cuts back. Nichols leading. Dive for the goal line. And touchdown, Kalamazoo.
What a play right there from Lucas Hannafin. Oh, my goodness. It's just a normal wide receiver screen. You cut to the middle of the zone. You pull the linebackers over, and you got to give credit where credit's due to the leading receivers on the blocks. I mean, he doesn't get from this hash to that hash without that. That's massive.
Absurd. The best run after catch maybe we've seen all year long and in a long time here on Angel.
And that's big. I mean, you talk about Kalamazoo gifting them some first downs, gifting them plenty of yards, good chunks. Well, you got to make them pay if they're going to give you gifts, because if they're giving you first downs, they're giving you chances, but you're going to come up with 3, that can't happen. That is massive from Lucas Hannafin.
Play clock running down a little bit. Roberts to get it off. It's low. He snuck that in. Don't worry about it.
That was scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Collective breath was held for a moment. Drive goes 2 minutes, 23 seconds, and we didn't even get to talk about Josh Nichols leading it. How good is that from your 5th-year quarterback? Does he want to win this game?
And that's great to see, too, especially because the first 2 throws he had, both on the choice route over the middle, nearly picked off. That was short hop to a linebacker. And then that fade route on the outside to his receiver in the corner of the end zone that was just overthrown. To miss those 2 balls, miss an RPO, and then just get comfortable. Put a nice screen in, trust your playmakers. That's huge. That's going to build confidence in your fifth-year senior quarterback, and that's massive. But now it's, can Calvin answer, and can they put together a drive? The young team, you get on top early, you put pressure, you keep building on the snow pile, they're going to start overthinking it. So they got to keep this thing close.
Absolutely they do. Josh Nichols, when it's all said and done here at Kalamazoo, a chance to be a 40-plus game starter. Most of the career passing records going to be within reach. He came in needing 788 yards for the all-time passing record. If you had sort of a Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech kind of game, lighting up, some of the most unreal numbers ever, he could start threatening that.
Yeah, I mean, already on the first drive, he's got only 29 yards, but, I mean, only 2 completed passes. So if you're going to keep on shredding the soft zone that Calvin's going to give you like that, Kalamazoo's got to learn to take it. If they're going to give you the underneath and let your playmakers cook, take it every single time, every single day of the week. You're not going to complain about your playmakers having the ball in space.
Absolutely. Nichols also needed 19 attempts coming in for the most passes thrown ever, and he's second in completions all time. Ready, ready, swarm is that kickoff cadence. Fielded on the fly. Knight's first kickoff return, and it's stacked up. Swarm of Hornets. Ronnie Spencer to clean them up.
A great play right there. Get the coverage down. Don't let them get anything plus, because you talk about on the first kickoff return of the game for Kalamazoo getting nearly to the 33-yard line. You don't want that to happen the other end, because that just gives confidence. But now you got to think to yourself, the Calvin offense, that they score, and they score a lot. You got to be able to stop them here, and you got a big crowd to help you do so. This place needs to get pretty loud and make this young team uncomfortable once again.
Absolutely it does. The noisemakers out in full force. The student section as jam-packed as maybe ever. Motion in a tight end. Now they hand it to him. Bounces off a couple of tackles. A wrinkle on the very first play. Kind of fun.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that Kalamazoo pulled out on their first play from the line, but interesting play call right there with the look Kalamazoo was giving them. They had a decently stacked box, and then you run it to the outside and got off the edges quickly to shut that down.
Hunter Hogan had that first carry. A scrum right around that line of scrimmage. Is this going to be a loss? Maybe no gain. Depends on the forward progress spot.
Great play by Jack Duggins off the line right there. He was completely shoved aside by the guard in pursuit, and he was able to somehow wrap him up by the left foot, because if he doesn't, Harden was gone. He spun away, and he had a lane on the outside. He had a step as well. This is a big third down quick.
And they do go quick. To get it out, it's a little high from Ishmael Heisen. Looking for an indication. Out of bounds and incompletes.
Big play by the DB. That ball is caught all the way and inbounds, but last second being pushed out of play. That's Corey Garrison, I believe, on the play. And that's big time right there.
Corey Garrison, already a one-time MIAA Player of the Week this season, and showing up again in coverage. Mishmer Heisen, maybe if he wears, a size 17 instead of an 18, he gets that foot inbounds?
Yeah, we're seeing Isaiah Likely basically right there, because, I mean, that was a great catch from the receiver.
Absolutely it is. Punt is away clean from Logan Knapp, and fair caught. Kalamazoo will start this drive exactly the same spot, though how they get there a little bit different. 36-yard line as the offense trots back out.
I think you just got to run the ball. Calvin's showing a lot of three-man fronts. I think you really just got to run it until they prove they can stop it, or they put an extra lineman on the field. See if they show up early with that. I think they're just showing three once again. They're probably going to send a linebacker off the edge, which they've done a lot. But I think you just run it, and you run a lot of inside zones, and you make them uncomfortable through the box. That opens up one-on-one to your receivers on the outside. That three-safety high right away.
Calvin does have an absolute hog at nose in Austin Fennick. Goes 6'1", 285. Motion, Hennepin out. Jump cut, Shemwell eaten up. Didn't take long.
Yeah, they stacked the linebacker and had him weave inside the nose guard right there, and really there was no answer from the Kalamazoo offensive line. They had no idea what to do. It was Colin Dykeman on the play, the linebacker, number 30 for Calvin, that just got inside right there and shut down that run, because the lane was open through the B-gap.
3-by-2 empty again, the three receivers to the field side. Nichols, quick drop to get it out. Dangerous! Oh, that thing could have gone the other way real quick.
What a read, though, from Vanderplag. I mean, he had it. I mean, It's in his hands. That's perfectly placed directly to his face mask right there. And if he gets it, I don't know if he's going 6 the other way with his momentum carrying him in the middle of the field, but he's probably near in the red zone at best.
And you're asking a quarterback out there probably to make a tackle at that point. Go with a bunch now. One more different look offensively. Spates still the solo receiver to the right. Look that way the whole time. A little hook on his hip maybe. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the way. He beat him. He burned him. I like that route a lot from the receiver. You saw Spates right there off the line. Everyone's being pressed. He acts like it's a fade route, and then last second when the DB turns his hips to the outside, just cuts back in and had him all the way, and there's nothing you could do except tug James Bradbury style on the hip.
Ooh, brutal. Have the Eagles not been beaten down enough with the concussion to Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown missing the time? I'm glad I don't have any of them in fantasy.
All's fair in love and war right there, but I mean, you look at the DB, Nowlin, that's the leader on this defense. That's the junior, the only upperclassman starting on this defensive unit.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit. Hornets to run on first down behind C.J. Aldred. Not a lot there, 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, he just got smoked. Through the middle, got absolutely decked, and that's a hard hit to take. Lucky to hold on to the football through the gap.
So we've only seen 1 carry for Sheldon Riley. Connor Bell, as the number 2 running back, is occupying the backfield right now. They put the bunch into the boundary this time. The short side of the field. Nichols looks there first. Quick pump. Now Spates catches it. A juke toward the middle. Got him a first down and more.
That's what you got to do. Get the ball into the hands of your playmakers right now. Calvin's playing soft off the line, all except for that third down where the PI was thrown. They are playing very soft, and they're doing it again. If you can just run quick routes and get inside, get the ball in space with speed to your playmakers, you're going to have a fun day offensively.
We'll go split backs. Slot to the left is Hannafin. Long ride, now a give. Connor Bell, maybe nothing.
It's an interesting look that Calvin's getting defensively with a 3-man front and then stacking the box. Seemingly there were 7 guys in the box right there with the safety playing in for run support. But you can do that when Calvin's defenses, their linebackers are getting to the ball carrier quickly. If Kalamazoo hands it off, it's 1 second before the guy has someone in pursuit.
On the second down, and complete short, but it helps. Helps you get about halfway there.
There's that soft coverage, though, right there. We talked about it in the RPO. And if you're going to play that far off Braden Lewis, all he's got to do is cut in about 5 yards to the sideline, and it's an easy completion like that. It's a good completion, though. It's a field completion from your quarterback, and we've seen Nichols miss a few. That's a good completion.
Braden Levis 5 yards.
Watch for heat right here.
Yeah, they're showing it too pre-snap. Pressure, you know, it can burst pipes.
Yeah, and they were showing. They were rushing 6 right there, and I don't think Kalamazoo knew what was happening. Props to this offensive line all game. They've been given a good pocket for Nichols, but they have been beat by some 3-man fronts right there. And you saw 2 linebackers off each edge with the mic in the middle about the blitz as well, or showing blitz at least, and that's a scary look for any line.
Yeah, you know you have to sort out everything. And if you're blocking 6, everybody gets one-on-ones. Trips out to the field, to the wide side. Connor Bell still in the gun with Josh Nichols. Over the middle, deep for Clark, too high.
Yeah, he had to rush it. He had a linebacker just off the edge, and it was a good play right there. It was actually Trevor Martins on the play, and then Austin French, the D lineman, that just got on the edge and was coming on the blind side. If he didn't get rid of that football, half more second, he's on the ground, and hopefully the ball's still in the hand of the quarterback at that point.
Hunter Hogan going both ways. He was the DB in coverage. Now look who's deep to return the punt. All 3 phases, Hogan, a warrior. Kalamazoo's typical punt look with the back wall. A pretty punt-safe look, probably conservative. Yeah, 0 rush at all. Moat to get this off. A deke from the returner. Now the roll's going to help.
It's great backspin. Hit at the 11 and lands at what looks like they're marking at the 8. That's perfect right there. Precision to pin them deep because they're young. Make them uncomfortable. I can't say it enough, and that's exactly what Kalamazoo has done so far. That was a big defensive stand from Calvin. That pass wasn't going to complete on 3rd down. There was no chance. Safety was right there, but Kalamazoo's done a good job keeping them on their toes.
This drive starts at 8:27 of the first quarter. 7-0 Hornets still. Another drive out for this Calvin offense. They want to take a shot. Comeback route. Mishmer Heisen incomplete. You could hear that one whizzing from up here.
Yeah, and they're going for, as you talked about, the man in the post. They're going for their 6'7" X receiver. He's got a mismatch. I don't think there's anyone on this Kalamazoo roster you can put on him where it's not a mismatch height-wise. I mean, 6'7" at receiver, that's not fair. And they're not putting safety help over him either, at least showing it. So if he can get a beat, just air it out.
They're going to keep it on the ground for the second down. Get zip. Adam Stapleton tracked it down.
It's a heck of a read off the edge from Stapleton right there. If you can send your safeties into the box and kind of stop any outside run like that, that's big time. I still don't love the no safety look over the top on the 6'7" receiver on the far end of the field, but if you're going to rush and not give time for the quarterback to get it out there, sure, it'll work.
A gun double set. Chase Bradman surveys, got a lot of time. Flush is now complete. Should be a chunk. Seth Ritzema, a little shove on the sideline at the end.
He was still in bounds, too, when he had he just shoved him off. I mean, you get a guy in space like that, and Kalamazoo rushed 5. They rushed it appeared to be the weak side safety, but, I mean, anytime you give Bradman a chance to step up, he's going to get completion.
Ritzema goes for 23. Now to get it out quick on a bubble. And this thing is going to split down that sideline.
Wow.
A flag way, way back there. This thing could come all the way back, though.
I don't know. Kalamazoo's pointing, but my goodness, that's a great play call by this Calvin coaching staff. You see the weak coverage off the line, and all you do is you send a sweet little bubble with the blocker in front. You get the edge, but this is big time. If this stands, that's massive.
This could be one of the biggest penalties I've ever seen.
Wow.
And a hold.
This place is loud now. They're happy. This place is electrified.
You write a script, and it's got all these different beats to it. The change, the emotions, and the feel of it, I think that is the biggest one we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, right there, you saw the Calvin sideline just depleted the minute that Kalamazoo was pointing at the flag. They were pointing at midfield when the play was still at the 20-15-yard line. They knew right away. They're saying, this one's coming back. Don't get too excited. And now it's a big-time one. It's a big-time moment for Kalamazoo. We talked about making them pay when they give you chances. Well, you just caught a break probably because maybe not have been the most blatant hold, but you get a rink-dink penalty like that, you got to make them pay, force them to punt, get the ball back. You got momentum now, to say the least.
They'll now start with a 1st and 6, your average everyday 1st and 6. Back in an empty set now, first look we've seen from him, with the one tight end in. Now, do you like pressure, or do you expect them to keep that tight end into block and then maybe the pressure won't hit?
I think they're going to chip the defensive lineman off the edge, have that tight end go on a flat. They're playing pretty soft with the zone, it appears.
Empty set for Chase Bradman. Flips it out. A little dangerous. That's a bit behind. You probably want to lead that further outside, but it's complete to Carter Bilsma.
One thing is they didn't chip. They did exactly what I thought with the soft zone, but didn't chip at all in it. They probably should have. If they chip, he's probably a step and a half behind. That ball's perfectly placed in the front shoulder, and you're probably near the 45.
They go quick. Bubble again. The last one hit big. Alex Pepin in there. Carson Dynas cleaned that thing up hard.
It's a good move, though, from the receiver. It's a great play call. If they're going to give you the quick little completions, take it. It's like saying don't complain about a 3-yard run. Don't complain about a 5-yard bubble.
Agreed.
Oh, I like this set from Calvin.
Looked like it was going to be a 2 tight end set. Now they motion one out as a receiver. Pepin trying to rip that thing out. Another flag's down.
I think this one's going to stand, though. I think it's going to be on Kalamazoo.
Alex Pepin, the corner to that side.
Ooh.
Unenviable assignment.
I just saw a hold signaled on the offense.
Well, we got a zebra party. They're still talking it out.
It's a hold of some sort. And I believe it's on the offense. Calvin's going back.
Holding offense, number 11, Kenya Connolly from the bottom of the foul, first down.
I think penalties and turnovers are important to winning football games. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, right now Calvin's shooting himself in the foot. Scoreboard reads 7-0, but they've done everything in their power to have this game tied or even in their possession with a chance to take the lead. And every time you think they got a beat, that's a beautiful play call. You motion the receiver, show zone, easy 5-6 yard completion. There's something that brings it back. That just can't happen.
How many big plays are you going to hit and have them be called back before you get really frustrated? Maybe not too many more. Came out and gun doubles at first, now put the tight end on the line. A first rollout, designed rollout for Bradman, complete. Mishmerheisen, after the catch, rolls forward and makes a little gain out of it.
You can tell they like their ex-receiver. You can tell they want to get the ball in the hand of 18 right away, because they've targeted him, I think that's 6 times now already, and even though that's, I think, the first completion.
You got to keep throwing it that way. 6'7", 222, absurd. Pressure's coming, dumped. First sack for the night, Dylan Gackey.
Got to get rid of that football. If you're Bradman right there, I mean, you saw the pocket collapse and nobody was open. You just have to swallow your pride, spike that thing into the ground. It's big though. This crowd's got to get loud here.
Absolutely. Jazzed up after the sack, 3rd and long. Go design roll out the other way. Ballabuck getting a little manhandled. Bragman to run, stuck.
Ouch.
And 4th down. Fists up. You know what that means.
They're lucky right there, though. That was dangerous. They're very lucky that Bradman did not try to slide. He tried to go head forward, because if he started to slide at all, leading with the crown like that, that wouldn't be pretty.
Now, can you believe they show the offense to go for this on the 4th and 8? Now QB quick punt likely coming. Oh, could you imagine? Now he wants to throw it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and it's complete for the 1st down, Hunter Hogan.
Wow, that is gutsy and that is huge. You shoot yourself in the foot sometimes, then you pull that. I mean, Kalamazoo was scrambling when he went back to punt, and it just softened up the zone. It was perfect.
If you have the normal punt team out there, then you expect a fake. But with the offense, you figure it's got to be the QB quick punt. Outstanding call.
Oh.
Jair Harden to carry. He breaks a bunch of those and falls forward at the end.
That's a grown man run right there. You're tackled 3 yards past the line. You get 7 after breaking a barrage of tackles from the linebackers. And that is a grown man's run right there.
Harden mostly dominating the carries so far. The tight end set off right. They'll look to the right with Mishmerheisen complete. Probably have that every time you want it, right?
Yeah, so the way I'm looking at it right now, this Calvin offense, when they're sending their big man, Mishmerheisen, on the outside, Kalamazoo's not really putting a safety over the top. They're playing soft. They're electing just to say, hey, beat us underneath. We're not going to let you throw a deep ball to a 6'7" wide receiver, and then if you have it, just give it to him.
Kalamazoo just subbed Carson Dinas off for a moment to get a blow. Raymond Cargill on in his 33 in black. Jair Harden to carry on the 1st down. Now good push up front, and that's not going to gain much, if anything.
Kalamazoo's controlling the trenches. That's one thing you're noticing. Not a big run game from Calvin. Anytime they do, it's their running backs making godly plays and breaking tackles. You just got to sharpen up the one-on-ones on the outside.
After the sack from Gackey, this drive felt a lot different. Now it feels as if Calvin's found something they like. 2nd down, long still, Jair Harden. And Cargill, great gator tackle, beats his chest.
Are you noticing right now with Kalamazoo, they're only rushing 4, and they're manhandling out that offensive line. This Calvin offensive line, it's a young unit as the entire team is, but they're not handling pressure well at all, and it's just 4. If you rush 5, you're probably going to give Bradman maybe 2 seconds.
Play fake. Bradman, eyes up, got a man, middle of the field, completes. And 1st down, Seth Ritzma.
It's a beautiful play by the receiver. I mean, Ritzma right there had a choice route. Calvin loves their choice routes. He had one, and he found the soft spot in the zone, and there wasn't anyone near him. It was easy as playing catch.
Been doing a lot of that on this drive. They go with some tempo, complete. Hunter Hogan. Hogan on a bubble, took a pop at the end.
This is the kind of feel where you start to get scared if you're Kalamazoo defensively, and you can see it. They're sending a safety over onto the wide side of the field for Mishmerheisen. They don't want him one-on-one at all in this situation, because this is easily where now pressing up on the line, it seems, you could just drop back, or Bradman kind of tossed it up there and put it only where the kids can't reach, but They're shadowing a safety over there. They don't want that fade ball.
2nd down 3. You could take the shot to the end zone here. They'll run Harden first. Harden's met around the 5, trying to push a pile. Might be a tad shy of the 1st down.
It's a good stand by the linebackers because he is just short. It's going to be about 3rd and 5 inches. I don't even think a half a yard would do it justice of how close he got. The friendly spot for Kalamazoo.
Yeah, maybe it is. We'll take it. 3rd down officially, 2 to go. Hogan motions left to right, sets up in the slot.
No safety high on the X.
They're going to look the other way, throw towards the goal line. He stretched it out. No signals. And now touchdown, Calvin.
It's exactly what you do. It's perfect right there. Everyone including ourselves. I'm pretty sure you're the same way, Tanner. We're looking at the X receiver, 6'7", one-on-one press coverage, fade into the corner. That's where everyone thought it was going. I'm pretty sure it's where Kalamazoo thought it was going.
I'm totally guilty of it, yes.
You go the other way. That's a perfect play call right there.
Chase Bradman to Seth Ritzema for 6 yards for the first MIAA touchdown for the Knights.
That's a big answer right there if you're Calvin.
Huge. Extra point. Up. Good. Even. There's Sal Rufino on for the extra points.
Something tells me this game is going to be an all-time classic with the way that Calvin's answering. It's impressive for their first year as a program to have this kind of play on the field already. I mean, you start thinking maybe the first year is going to be not pretty successful in the field, not a good product, but competing early on, and you're seeing a young team competing. It's a bit scary for the entire MIAA.
Did week 1 not fully prove that incorrect?
Oh, yeah, but
I mean, they put a number on Oberlin, and then last week, 66-12 win versus Anderson. This team is absolutely for real.
and if you look at those box scores, there's a lot of big plays from this Calvin offense, but they haven't had anything today. They've had one big play, and it was taken back on a holding penalty. It would have been a 64-yard touchdown on the bubble, got taken back on a hold. Other than that, I haven't seen the ball be thrown over 10 yards. Kalamazoo's kind of taken away the deep ball, and taken away the big shot, and just saying, hey, beat us underneath and beat us one-on-one in the open field.
That drive went 19 plays, 92 yards. Oh, my goodness. That is an all-time drive already.
That is something from Calvin, to be pinned inside your own 8, have that go your way. Don't forget they had a 3rd and long. They had a 3rd and 11 on that, and they got the first. They didn't get the first. They got the 4th down and then converted, But you got to think, at one point, they were 4th and 7 from their own side of the 50. They get it on plus side, and they rode that momentum through hurry up and got all the way down. It's impressive.
What a quarter in general have we been treated to? Come on, dude.
This has been, you couldn't have really rode up a better first quarter for this birth of the rivalry. This is awesome.
Kickoff coming just inside the left hash. A little bit of gusto. Hannafin watches it. It's close. Out of bounds. This could also be huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's a veteran play from the receiver right there. That's pretty, because that ball just deflected 90 degrees nearly. It looked like out of the back of the end zone. Maybe caught a gust of wind and just kind of sat there looking pretty.
Get to start out at 35, also beyond the touchback spot by far.
I'm looking for this Kalamazoo line to take advantage of the youth, take advantage of the 3-man front, push forward, and just make it easy running down the field. You haven't really seen a lot of success on the ground yet from Kalamazoo. Only 2 yards per carry, but look at 3-man front. You just want to push forward.
They start in split backs again, do the Nets. Nichols to drop back. Riley swings, open, caught it. And a great finish to that run. If he got the first down, that's huge. Flag out as well.
I think the flag's going to be on a holding. I think this is coming back. I think it's going to be on a holding on the receiver.
It may have gotten 81, Devin Yankee over there. Now they send on Tyler Houle, 24 in black.
I do like that play design from Kalamazoo, though. Every time they come out split back, it's just a simple zone run. Right there, they have a little misdirection with the receivers, and one of the split backs is wide open with no defender within 5 yards.
And Sheldon Riley's been carrying the ball 15 times a game. He's your workhorse back, your number one. He's only got one of the 6 carries so far.
You're keeping them guessing, and I kind of like the look. They're trying to kind of find their change of pace here. Once again, keep the young Calvin Knights on their toes. Keep them thinking. You don't want to let Calvin get in a groove where they start feeling good. They're young. Make them make young mistakes.
Do you also like throw to score and then run to win later on in the game?
100%. I mean,
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness.
ooh. They gave him an unnecessary roughness. That's now, if I'm counting correctly in my head, which might not happen, near 60 yards of penalties for Calvin just on the defensive side of the ball. You had those 2 massive holdings. On the offside, you had the 2 massive offsides on third downs. Then you have that. That's big.
6 penalties, 54 yards.
was
That's
close.
very well done.
I was close.
I will entirely fudge it to you. You didn't even know we could get that on stats.
I really didn't.
The gain went for 13. The 15 yards tacked on, and you just skipped right over midfield. Jacquez James, the tight end. Riley to run that way. James leads. Trying to lean on bodies. Andrew Munger gave him a little push. Now a late hit the other way.
Yeah, it's going to be on. It's going to be the offensive line. I think they're going to get Travis Shemwell here. They think they get the junior right guard on it. Had a late hit on the, I believe it was a safety coming in.
Dead ball, personal foul, offense, number 64. 15-yard penalty for the spot of the foul, first down.
That can't happen because, I mean, you look at it right now, and
Correction, second down.
now with that last penalty updating from Calvin at 69 penalty yards, before that one, Kalamazoo had 5. That's how you win a football game. You have to win the penalty battle. That's not a good penalty to take.
Yeah, it does hurt. It makes this drive a lot more difficult. The
So
clock still shows 48.8 here for the quarter.
Instead of 2nd and 8, it's 1st and a lot.
Walmart parking lot, perhaps?
That'll
Airplane
work.
runway,
That'll work. Country mile.
roughly.
Excuse me, 2nd in a country mile.
Unfortunately, even a little bit worse for the offense. They're going to run behind James again. Riley with some hesitation. Got punished.
He just got slammed. He got picked up David Montgomery style, but it didn't go the way that you would like it to go if you're Kalamazoo.
Yeah, that was punctuated harshly. Looking to the sideline. You've got your 3rd and extra long calls, but I think they're going to hold on to him for the quarter break here.
Yeah, I think I want a word right here if I'm Kalamazoo. I want to know, do we really want to draw something up, or do we just want to run it, give our punter a good chance? Last time he gave him a chance around the 50, it was pinned at the 8. Perfectly put backspin on the ball. So, yeah, we're just going to take this into the break. I like it.
Sometimes what I like to see is you get up to the line, you act like you're going to go tempo, and you just try and draw somebody off, make this a little bit closer. Yeah, with such a long ways to go, probably not a great chance of that happening.
Yeah, and I mean, you're looking at that first quarter, and you're looking at a game that right now is looking very air-heavy. No one's succeeding in the trenches. You think one way, you think the other way, but it's just been back and forth on who's controlling it, and it's been the defense controlling the offense.
Absolutely it has. Dictating what you can and can't do. You want to breeze through the stats and what jumped out to you from that entire quarter?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about Bradman for Calvin. You talk about getting a 5th-year transfer. Didn't play at Indiana Wesleyan, but had the experience of 4 years with the top program in the NAIA. Comes out here with a first-year program, a young team, mainly freshmen surrounding him. Goes 11 of 13 with a touchdown and 102 yards in that first quarter. And when you have no run game, when you only get 14 net yards on the ground in a quarter, that has to happen. And on the other side, Kalamazoo. If you look at it, 5 for 10, 58 yards and a touchdown from Nichols, -4 yards net on the ground.
What could have been with Calvin's offense for the quarter, but for all of those penalties? Could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, it would probably just be even more efficient than what they're already doing. I mean, 11 for 102 from the quarterback, Bradman, is already efficient. Imagine if you get rid of 3 of those completions, but you keep the yardages on that 64 pitch and run.
Kalamazoo got a ton to go to pick up a first down. Call it about 24. Way backed up. Nichols is going to roll right. Pressured quick. Crunched. Ouch.
Yeah, he got smoked. Just got burned off the edge right there. There was no chance at all. I mean, it was free right there. It's a beautiful move on the outside. I think it was Carson Scherstein on the play.
Carson Schneerstein, a former Portage Central Mustang, a guy I got to watch last year calling high school football, and they defeated my Portage Northern Huskies. It was tough to watch, but an absolutely emphatic hit.
Yeah, well, that was a great move off the line from the freshman, too. And talk about a young team, but these young guys are making plays. It's exciting if you're a Knights fan.
No doubt. Again, not a lot of pressure on the punt. Moat gets one away. Fair caught again. Field position, okay, just outside their own 25.
Yeah, and now if you're Kalamazoo, your defense has to tighten up because this Calvin offense moved the ball with whatever they wanted to do through the air in the first half. Averaged 9.5 per completion. You have to make sure that doesn't happen. And simply put, you got to trust your guys because Kalamazoo played a lot of soft coverage, gave the short stuff. Well, that went Calvin's way. You got to tighten up. You got to make sure that Calvin can beat you deep. Make Bradman work for his completions.
He will go to work from the 23-yard line. 102 through the air so far. Good number. They start out the receiver again, looking like he's going to be a tight end off the line. Now Bradman, boots left. Dynas trying to pull him up. Bradman got some yardage and forced out.
It's good contain right there, but it's even better from Bradman, I have to think. There was nothing there, and he somehow gets 4 yards on the carry. Just keep everything going positive, you're Calvin. That's really the key to success. You're not going to complain.
Jackson Mitchell pulled him up, knocked him out of bounds. They're going to try and bubble Kalamazoo to death. A stick at the end. It will be a 3rd down and short, though.
If you're going to play a soft zone on the outside, they're going to bracket their receivers, and you're going to see it. This is an experienced coaching staff and experienced quarterback. They're going to see the coverages, and they're going to know exactly what to do. I was up here pointing at sticks all the way, and they just go quickly and get about 4. You're not going to complain about 4 yards every play.
You could still see the bubble maybe.
Free play.
Oh, they do. They're going to take the shot. Incomplete off the fingertips for Ritzma. They could have been striking up the band.
That's 7 right there. That is 7 all the way for Ritzma. He beat the DB by a step. He jumps up, grabs that one. I don't think the safety's making the tackle on the hips. He looked burned and dead in his rights. That's a break if you're Kalamazoo. And if you're Calvin, yeah, you get the 1st down. You get a chunk off the offsides, but oh, what could have been right there.
Even though it's a positive play for you with the outcome, you'll still think about the what could have beens. Film sessions, that's all you talk about.
I think it's man right here.
They will keep it on the ground. Harden just tossed somebody out of the club and made a gain out of it.
Yeah, and then you tackle him forward from Stapleton right there. Gives him an extra yard and a half. Just kind of rolled him over the defender, and just like that, he was hit behind the line nearly and gets 6. That's sensational from Harden. He's been great today.
Absolutely. Nolan Janninger, the one that got tossed. Johnson got a hand on it. That could have been the other way for 6.
Yeah, he wasn't looking for it, but if he's looking to go 6, if he's channeling his inner Will Johnson, he wants it, he has it, but he channeled his inner Brian Branch instead, just swatted out of the way. It's a smart play from a DB. It's not flashy. It's one that a coach likes, but it's not one that you want as a player. You're going to watch that back and be like, dang, I could have had a 6er. But instead, it's just a beautiful pass breakup.
Yeah, it is. That's Amarion Hall. He had a pick 6 in the Kenyon game in his first career game out. Bradman, boots. A sit down at the 6. Complete 1st down and more. Stapleton again with a pop.
Yeah, and I mean, Calvin's doing that. Doing exactly what they did the second drive. The first drive, you saw a lot of slow, kind of maintain tempo. Now you're just seeing, hey, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Don't give Kalamazoo a chance to even think about what we're doing.
They're making those down marker people work hard.
It's soft.
They're going to go underneath. You got a flag coming out quick. They ran a shallow cross with the tight ends.
I like the misdirection right there from Calvin, but Kalamazoo showed you that soft set again. There's got to be a way for Bradman just to say, you know what, I'm going short. I'm going with that bubble. I'm getting 5 because they had it.
An auto signal of some kind, you mean?
Yes, they had it completely right there with the auto out, with the bubble. But now it's going the other way. I don't think it would have mattered either way. I think it was going to be a hold no matter what then.
Hold brings up 1st down and 20. Motion receiver out again. Bradman rolling right again. Gonna tuck it. Moderate gain. He got some of the yardage back.
Had a window, though. He had a window to the receiver on the sideline outside the numbers if he wanted it. Would have been a tight window to put a ball into, but it was there.
Dylan Gackey brought him down. Gackey had the sack, the only Kalamazoo sack earlier. Now he'll have to settle for just the tackle. Now an empty look from the Knights to get it out quick. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage. Look at the swarm of Nets.
See, this is the difference. You can afford to play that soft coverage and give them 5 yards on 2nd down and 18. But here on 3rd and 12, I'm not giving them anything soft. I'm not giving them anything soft, especially with the ability these receivers have shown after the catch. You cannot do it.
You absolutely nailed it. They've already hurt you a number of times in those run after catch situations. Trips into the boundary. Bradman hurried. Got to get rid of it. Sacked! Raymond Cargill. A 4th down and a mile.
Someone get that guy on a track. Cargill just was sent out of a rocket to the blind side right there. I mean, there was no chance for the quarterback to get away from that, let alone even think about what was going on.
And coming from the inside leverage that he ended up having, sort of losing the contain, to be able to still track down an athletic quarterback, nuts.
That's a lot of speed from the sophomore. If you're an undersized linebacker, you got to be fast. Well, he's fast.
Absolutely. 5'9", 195, second career sack in the zoo for Cargill. Punt's fair caught. Hornets offense going to come out at the 25. 11:01, second quarter.
It's a big stop because after that opening touchdown from Kalamazoo, you start thinking, okay, we're getting in a groove, Calvin answers, and then since then, their defense has stipend you. And if you're Kalamazoo, you start thinking to yourself, all right, we have to repeat it, and we have to get stops too because you can't get in a situation where we're playing catch-up. Now the offense needs to just put together a drive that gets across the 50, is just moving consistently, and is efficient in all aspects.
All starts on this first down. Calvin still with the odd front. Nichols pirouettes right. Looks cool. Wants to tuck it, slides. Business decision.
I like the spin away from the nose guard that got through the line. I'm shocked at this 3-man front Calvin's bringing almost every time in the way that they're able to get by this Kalamazoo line.
KJ Harp, to me, was a guy that really stood out on film study. Lightning quick with the first step from the nose spot. Nichols for Tyler Houle completes. Ouch, but close to the first down.
That's great coverage from the safety, though, to get back and make that hit. We talked about if you're going to get the ball to your playmakers in space, there was a lot of space right there. There's just a little bit too much arc on that ball, and it gave the safety a chance to get over.
It goes as a gain of 6. Nichols to Tyler Houle, first catch for him on the Knights. 3rd down 3, empty for the Nets offense. Nichols pumped, now went second window, it's complete! And a big gain, Connor Bell down the sideline, a chunk.
That is so impressive from Nichols right there. On the second read, he double clutched it too. He wasn't so sure, and Bell had no idea that football was coming. The only reason he caught it is because it was in his chest. It hit him, and he said, oh, the ball's right here. All right, I'm gone. He had no idea that he was the read right there.
Tight end plus the halfback set off to the left with 2 receivers that way. And ball's loose. Nichols got to improvise. Maybe a gain of none. If they're lucky, he got back to the line of scrimmage. KJ Harp might be credited with the TFL perhaps.
It was a low snap, and that's tough to come after the big play, the big completion to pick up the first down, but you're lucky that your quarterback was on that one. I like the split back look, though, because it opens up a lot of options. Calvin has no idea what they're going to run here.
Yeah, they've been hitting good plays out of this so far tonight. Nichols goes play fake. They sneak Durbin, the tight end, under. Nichols stumbled and incomplete again. I think Kalamazoo dodged one more bullet.
I think it might have been caught at the original line of scrimmage. It would have been a gain of maybe half a yard, but I'm pretty sure that they just dodged the bullet of a pick and somehow, some way pick up a half yard of net gain right there. It wouldn't have changed much. It would have been 3rd and 11. Now it's 3rd and 10, but
I scarcely believe Durbin caught that ball. I am stunned, but you're right.
they mark it a completion for no gain. So, yeah, he somehow, some way caught that football.
Sort of a dirty bunch out to the field.
I like it, though, because there's no safeties outside. If you can match these routes well, you can have the outside in the numbers.
They bring Durbin across. Nichols boots right. Nichols got a man wide open. Spates! Into the end zone. Touchdown, Nets. How good are these two on those kind of connections?
That's impressive from Nichols right there to be able to stop, plant, and throw and at least get enough on it to air it out nearly 25 yards in the air on a dime, because He was running full speed. He had no intention of throwing that football. He was going to tuck in and try to get as much as he could. Saw his man and said, you know what? We've done this enough at practice. I'm putting it down there. It's kind of that meme you see on the internet. He's down there somewhere. Well,
Yes.
He was down there and he was open.
Yeah, we can't say the entire thing, but exactly we know what you mean. Oh, lock in. Extra point coming. A little bit higher. Still not maybe perfect execution on the PAT. They're probably going to tighten that up in the film session on Sunday.
You know what? It does a job, and that's a great answer from Kalamazoo because after that touchdown drive, if you took away that touchdown drive and just showed film of the offense and the drives between the two, you're thinking to yourself, oh, boy, this offense looks shaky. That's a big answer from a team that needed it, to say the absolute least. Calvin looked like they were starting to control a little bit, and Kalamazoo now puts them back on their toes because if you're Calvin now, you have to score. You need points on this drive just to kind of answer, maintain pace with Kalamazoo, who's starting to get chunk plays, something that they did not get on that first drive.
Yeah, they've been biting them off, and all through the air. So, what did we mention, just around the quarter break? Throw to score, run to win, especially fourth quarter.
Yeah, now that you've kind of established that deep game, if you're Kalamazoo, you're making Calvin going to have to kind of lighten up on the linebacker spot, lighten up the safeties. They've been rushing their safeties in a lot on option plays and run plays especially, and they've been stopping it. Kalamazoo still -3 rushing yards in the day. They've been stopping at the safeties. Now the safeties are going to have to respect the deep ball to the receiver, and especially in Jordan Spates, who's had his way seemingly with the secondary. Watch out for this run game the next drive. I'm looking for Kalamazoo to come out of the gates running heavy.
Nichols to Jonah Spates, 35 yards on the improv job, just like those two are always known to do around here. That's now 57 total touchdowns accounted for Josh Nichols, and counting.
Nichols to Spates. It's a recipe for success. 8 + 2 = 10, but it equals 7 on the field.
I like it. Kickoff now from just inside the right hash as we flip sides. It's higher up in the air, collected around the 15 now. And Hornets trying to settle this thing out. It had some legs, real close to the 30.
Yeah, they're lucky right there because the returner bounced off his up men and had a lane on the outside. He could have got to it, but that's big time from the Gunners just to kind of push through the resistance and get to him, because that gave a little bit of dangers on the outside that could have potentially gone nearly to midfield.
You see the ball carrier skills there from Ronan Russell Dixon on that return. A transfer, might we add, from that team in Holland. To start, ball's on the 29 of Calvin. They'll run on the first down. They're stacked up a little bit. The pile moving just a bit the Knights' way on a shove.
Yeah, since that first drive, Calvin's been running the ball extremely well. The first drive was not pretty, but since then, they've had their way here in the trenches on the offensive end. They've been controlling.
A little QB draw for Bradman. That's another one I did not have on the bingo card.
Well, that is just an interesting play call right there. After you get 5 yards in the first down carry, you draw up your quarterback to run inside the tackles especially, and just completely blown up by the linebackers. Now it's just an interesting set. Kalamazoo can't, they're playing weak. I don't like it. They're playing soft off the line.
Motion out Hunter Hogan. Jackson Cook's in the backfield. And this play is killed before it gets started. Likely they're going to be backing him up.
They're lucky. Kalamazoo's lucky because talk about the ex-receivers for this team, the size that Calvin has on the outside. They were playing so soft here on the inside numbers. That was an easy 5-yard hitch route first down. But now you're in business if you're the Kalamazoo defense. Lucky business, but you're in business. It doesn't matter how. They don't ask how, they just ask how many.
Absolutely. I still think if we had the teleprompter, we'd be circling Luke Mishmerheisen. As a wide receiver out to the right, they motion Hogan again, same look. Bradman got lots of time to throw it. Did he hold on? Are you kidding? It's caught.
What a catch. Hunter Hogan just said, you know what? I may only be 5'10". I'm not the 6'7" receiver, but I can do it too. That is a grown man catch.
He plays all sides of the ball in his doing this. Unreal. He plays everything.
They're pressing him with no safety either. I'm going right back to the hot hand.
They will keep it on the ground first, trying to establish Jackson Cook a very good first down run.
I mean, if you're going to run the ball for 8 yards, you're going to run the ball for 8 yards. I really don't know what to say. And Kalamazoo even brought the safeties in on that run, and they still could not stop Calvin. If I'm Calvin, I'm running the ball until I'm basically told I can't.
They will go bubble here. It's a little bit low. May or may not have been scooped off the turf. We can debate. Complete for Seth Anderson.
I think they're going to mark him just short. I believe it's going to be 3rd down and a breath.
We've got the referee behind the play by far, signaling first down, however.
They probably would have picked up anyways the way they run the ball on 3rd down and a breath. All you got to do is hand it off to your backs, and they're gone.
That wide receiver off the line of scrimmage to the right in that sort of tight end spot again. And ran this on the very first play from scrimmage. Bradman pulls. Probably not the right decision. He's decked for a big loss.
Read all the way. They were not fooled at all. And, I mean, with the way they've been having Bradman try to run these last 2 drives, I expect it too. He's ran the ball 7 times now. Excuse me, 6. He was sacked once.
How much longer would you stick with the QB run game before you just scribble those off the play sheets?
They haven't been working.
Goes play action. It's complete. And guy that big falls forward and just gains something more out of it. Seth Anderson, back-to-back catches.
And I think the Calvin game plan is pretty simple. Get in 3rd and manageable situations. Ooh, empty on 3rd and 2 is interesting.
And they're going to throw for it. Complete over the middle, plus a broken tackle slipping over the top. Caleb Dubowski.
That tackle's got to be made. I mean, he was getting the first down either way, but that's dangerous right there. If no one's behind you, that's an open lane through the center.
Another long drive unfolding. From the 20-yard line, edge of the red zone, Jackson Cook, a cut inside, another first down carry for 5.
Now you've got 2nd and 5. You're in the red zone. Your offense is cooking. Kalamazoo's given the look, and they're doing it again. It's one-on-one on the outside with the safety kind of veering towards the middle. See what he does on the snap. But if they can get a fade ball, I take it.
Motion outer receiver to the slot. And give back to him the other way. That's tracked down. How? That is spectacular from Cargill.
Cargill's having a game. He's playing extremely well. I'm really, really impressed with what I'm seeing from the sophomore linebacker.
Arguably the only defender on that side of the field. The only guy with a chance to make that play, and he sniffed it.
And to make it in open field, too.
Rolling right. Bradman got options. Wants to launch it back. Pylon, and way too high. Stapleton locked it up.
That's the thing with that play right there. If you're Bradman, that ball just got to be catchable. If that's catchable, that's PI all the way. He was way too handsy inside there. I think that was Vinny Fodell on coverage. He was way too handsy in the corner right there. Just not catchable. You can't throw a flag if there's no chance the play can be made.
Trotting out the field goal kicker, Sal Rufino. Not an enviable spot to be in. Should be 37 yards. 6 of 9 on field goals for the season. Kick is up and crushed. I mean, way, way good.
Calvin's got a kicker. I think anytime they get inside the 35-yard line, they're thinking we can take chances, we can kind of have fun, because we know that if we can't get this thing completed for 6, our kicker can probably get us 3 from the spot we're at.
Their long for the year is 41, and now 7 of 10 field goals, 70%. You'll live with that, especially at the D3 level. But that thing was good from way further than 37.
Yeah, I'd like to know if that long from 41 is the longest that they've attempted.
Right, good point.
Because, yeah, like you're saying, that thing was good from at least 45. It might have scraped by at 47, 48. It was very well booted. That's a big answer for Calvin, though. Talk about you need it, but now if you're Kalamazoo, you have 3 minutes left in this half. Get downfield, answer it. At least make it 17-10 going to the locker room. Start feeling good. Or, hey, if you can make it 21-10, that'd be even better. But you just need points on this drive. Try to take the entire clock, too.
Now, 3 timeouts each side. That's going to play a huge factor, isn't it?
Yeah, this last 3 minutes is going to take about a decade. But it doesn't matter if Kalamazoo can just keep on moving the ball, kind of just get Calvin uncomfortable. The defense is tired, to say the least. They're tired. especially after the 2 long drives. And when Kalamazoo puts together these drives, they're a little bit more elongated than normal. You just got to keep going. Calvin's getting tired. And you can see it on the defensive side. They're getting lazy.
Calvin does have 19 and 11 play scoring drives. That last one, 11. Hannafin fields it. Ankles around the 7. Ooh, very little to be had on that return. You got a helmet flopping off as well, I believe, from Alex Pepin. No, it's Jacquez James, rather. He retrieves it, but no flags.
Yeah, Kalinowski got right to him. He, in the open field, you saw a little juke drive he made, didn't fall for it at all, wrapped up, and that's a beautiful play by the coverage team.
Personal foul. Face mask. Calvin.
Oh, and I lied about no flags. So Jacquez James, the reason the helmet pops off is a face mask.
Well, I mean, that's another example. Calvin is just shooting themselves in the foot. That's their 10th penalty. And I believe that's going to put them at 99 yards in this first half penalty-wise.
And excuse me, I thought Flag Day was June 14th. We are way, way late.
We're not even close. And, I mean, Kalamazoo's only got 3 for 13.
Your entire story of the game, perhaps, in penalties.
10 for 99 is the number right now in Calvin in this first half. That is absurd.
Plus wiping out that incredibly long touchdown.
They're shooting themselves in the foot. The fact they're in this game is impressive. That's got to feel good if you're Calvin.
Absolutely. Out of the split backs, and a little QB run game with Dawson Scoopin. Cool wrinkle.
He's staying in, too. They're changing up the look here. If you can get them to respect the quarterback keeper here, that can open a lot for the playmakers, and you're already seeing it. It's pretty soft on the outside.
Scoopin carried up to the 38. What other wrinkles might they have? Scoopin's going to drop back, and sort of a delayed QB draw, maybe. Close, a little bit shy of a first down.
So I like that play call a lot by Kalamazoo. I believe that was completely just Scoopin making that read himself. He saw the edge. He saw the linebacker showing pressure. And he kind of probably said to himself, if he comes, the slot receiver's going to be wide open in the flat. He didn't. The linebacker bit back, and that just opened up the right side completely. He had all the time in the world to run. He did.
Thought we had some early movement. Yeah, we do. This might be backed up, and it should get more interesting.
And you're gifted 3rd down and 1s. I mean, those are back-to-back impressive plays by your junior quarterback.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You just had a complete fire sale on the defensive line. 3 changes. Bunch of fresh bodies in and out from that defense.
And they're still probably just going to rush 3, maybe 4. They might send 1 linebacker, but Calvin has not brought a lot of blitz packages. You could probably count them on one hand from this half. I like this bunch on the outside, though.
Yeah, it's fairly tight to the line. Plus, you still have Spates, a solo receiver the other way. Timeout first. If there was, the 2-minute timeout. I had forgotten. Shame on me.
Well, it's a timeout. You were right. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
It's a timeout. And I actually kind of like this for Kalamazoo. We talked about Calvin not showing blitz packages. They had 6 on the line right there, and they were playing press man coverage. You haven't gotten that look a lot. If you're Kalamazoo, I'm expecting that look out of this 2-minute timeout. You got to draw something up here. It's got to be tailored to that. You haven't seen it all game. If you snap that ball, it's probably not going your way because you haven't seen it so far, and there's probably going to be a lot of pressure on Scoop. He's got to manufacture something where he has an outlet where he can just get rid of this ball seemingly the minute it touches his hand off the snap.
Argument's sake, you might send Nichols back out because you saw a couple of QB run packages with Scoopin. You might take that off and in the 3rd and 6 go back with Nichols. I speculate.
6 is not very, very out of the picture, though, to send him on a delayed scramble. Because if you can get that tight coverage we saw before the 2-minute break that we might see again, I'm seeing on the line, they're sending 4 at least. If you can get that, you can get all the gravity to go to one side of the field, it can open up Scoopin to the other.
Speaking of opening up Scoopin, he's back out with the split backs.
It's one-on-one on the outside with Spates, no safety. Now they safety him. Now they're soft.
Yeah, they showed it and bailed. Not shocking. 3rd and medium. Dawson Scoopin. And a great check down for the first down and more, plus out of bounds, Nate Clark.
That's massive from Scoopin. He wanted to go all the way, picked up his head to see where can I run this football, and probably saw a receiver and said, wait, you're not supposed to be open. Just kind of flipped it over, and it's easy as playing pitch and catch in the backyard right there.
Clark's now at the point. Got 3 threats that way, and Scoopin's going to roll that way. Scoopin, really dangerous. If that's led any further inside, Calvin's probably taking the lead.
I think Hannafin ran the wrong route. I really do. It might have been an option route for Hannafin based on what he saw, but it was zone coverage, and the zone was, simply put, giving him about 7 yards on the outside, and he ran about 12 and cut straight up field.
I was expecting a flood-type concept, right?
I was expecting something very quick, and I think that's exactly what Scoopin was expecting too, because that ball was basically put probably where it needed to be if we're thinking the right way. I think that's just miscommunication. Something we haven't seen a lot since that first drive where there was a lot of it.
Oh, ineligible downfield was what they were looking at, but they've waved it off.
Calvin's showing that 3-high safety set again. We haven't seen it in the last 2 drives defensively.
Cody Wrigley, CJ Aldred on that left side. Strong for Kalamazoo, and they could still look to roll Scoopin that way again. Had good protection last time.
Run something quick out of the bunch.
Scoopin will look left again. He pumps, now pulls it down, and complete for Spates. Big shot put on down low. But it's a gain.
Yeah, he was smoked right there. That was read completely all the way by the safety biting down. That is a big-time tackle from Nowlin.
Got a timeout, and they're announcing that they're putting a couple of seconds back on. I believe they said 1:39.
This is big for multiple reasons, though. 1:39 left. It's going to be 3rd and what appears to be 8, maybe 7 if you're being nice, but 3rd and long, we'll call it. If you air this thing out, it's incomplete. That's 3 timeouts in 90 seconds for Calvin to try to go the length of the field, and we've already seen them put together a 92-yard touchdown drive. They've started to get comfortable on the offensive side. They've had a few big chunk plays in the last 2 drives. This is a big-time 3rd down. You obviously don't want to concede and just say, hey, we'll punt it, use a timeout. But at the same time, you don't want to give Calvin the football back.
Carson Moat with a couple of punts, something to think about. Averaging 33 yards a punt. You might not net fantastic field position should you choose to punt.
Yeah, you'll have to see here what they do. You really can't afford to throw this thing 4 yards. You got to throw it within a yard or 2 of the marker to gain.
Fully agree. 3 receiving threats out to the left. Still Dawson scooping to sling it. Wants the one-on-one on Spates and a mugging. That's an easy one.
That might be the easiest PI call you're ever going to get. You're allowed within 5 yards. You're not allowed at 8 yards to shove the receiver.
Now, form tackling, we can talk.
When the ball's in the air, form tackling's not in the vocabulary of a defender. It shouldn't be, at least. It was right there, and there's a reason it's 15 yards upfield.
Now, at worst, thinking field goal.
You're thinking points minimum if you're Kalamazoo. I'm not quite sure where they feel comfortable to send the field goal unit out, but you're at the 38-yard line. You're close enough. 1 first down, I think you're in comfortable field goal range at that.
Back in the split back set. Been working. Why not? Play fake. Scoopin. Ton of time. Wants to take off. Track down. Sacked.
Give credit where credit's due to Nate Clark right there. On the split back, he's on the left side hip. They fake to the right side hip and then does a great job blocking the lineman off the edge who just completely toasted the Kalamazoo offensive line. I mean, it was gonna be, as a wise man once said, who wants to kill Kurt in that situation for the defensive lineman? But a great job by Clark, able to chip him. And anytime you have a 5'10" wide receiver tight end on a defensive end one-on-one, it's not going to go pretty, but it went as pretty as it could have.
Yeah, you survive it.
It's a great way to put it. It's survival right there because there's no chance for Scoopin to even scramble away. He's on the turf, hopefully, with the football in his possession.
And still we have not seen Josh Nichols out for the drive. I am a bit surprised, to be entirely honest.
Part of me's looking for him on the sideline just to make sure he's good.
Right. That could give an entirely different dynamic to this game we hadn't considered.
And it appears he's fine. I'm looking at him right now. He has his helmet on. He's on the sideline.
It's likely still package-based, right? 1 minute, 27 seconds. Second down, 14 for the Nets offense. Still Dawson scooping, looking to sling it. Wants to take a shot. Got a man. Hannafin! Twisting through the air. What did we just watch?
We just watched a receiver make an adjustment onto the wrong side shoulder. That should be 6 in Calvin ball with about 70 seconds. But it was thrown on the run, crossed the body of the junior quarterback, Dawson Scoopin. That's a great adjustment from Hannafin.
Now you've got all the time in the world, right? You can take your time getting up to the line. Minute 12.
Run this ball through the right side. Right side of the offensive line's wide open. They are showing pressure at the backers.
They are going to try and throw it. Go right onto the goal line. Jonah Spates, one more time.
This time it's not 8+2, it's 10+2. It's the same result, though. It's 6 and 7 on the board. That's a big-time drive right there. We talked about the right side of the offensive line in the B gap being wide open. They show blitz. They rush 6. It creates a one-on-one. He got the inside leverage, and once again, though, that's a great adjustment from the receiver. The ball's on the outside shoulder, but it was put only where he could get it.
2 and 10 is 12. I'm going to help you out. What's 2 touchdowns? 12 points.
There you go. That's big time, and you're looking at, hopefully, I'm not going to say it yet, but you're looking at a nice lead here, and Calvin's got 1 minute to answer.
And now this extra point looks like it got tipped. That's 2 blocked PATs and a blocked field goal for the Kalamazoo special teams in 4 weeks. Very much something still they're looking to clean up.
Special teams are they're not gonna kill you, but they are gonna make or break in a way. I always like to point back to the early 2010 Chargers, top defense, top offense in the league. Worst special teams, you missed the playoffs. It's the difference between being good and getting over the hump.
The expectations on both sides here coming into the year were reasonably, understandably, very high.
I don't know what Calvin's expectations were for their first year of a program, but I got to think they've exceeded, at least with the way that they're competing night in and night out. To show fight as this young of a team, you got to be pretty happy with the product you're putting out there year one. It's not easy to build something from the ground up.
Fully agree. Coach Fig loved to reiterate, when he came in here, they didn't own any shoulder pads. They didn't own any footballs.
They didn't have any players.
2 recruiting classes, 60 apiece, handpicked his own coaching staff. All of this is one of the most massive undertakings that you'll ever see in less than 2 years. And here they are. They're playing an MIAA football game.
And they're not just playing, they're competing. It's close, and they got a minute with an offense that has 2 plays over 20 yards in the last 2 drives. If you get one of those, you're in business to score points and make this a 1-score game.
Roberts to kick off. Fielded at the 7-yard line. This could have a big seam. Roberts. I love a kicker tackle. Give me more of it. However, big return.
Yeah, you might love a kicker tackle, but this Kalamazoo sideline doesn't, because you don't ever want your kicker have to make a tackle, because you know if he's in the position to make a tackle, something like that just happened. I said get one of your big plays out of the way, get near midfield, you're cooking. There's one of them right there. You're near midfield, 49 seconds left. You're 7 yards away from plus territory. And now you're not thinking just 3, making it 20-13. You're thinking, hey, let's make this 20-17.
Yeah, that would be just one more beat in the script. 49.1. Chase Bradman. Pressured by a couple. Cargill, he got him again! Hogtied!
This kid is sensational. The 5th-year quarterback tried to get him to jump, and he did not. Simply put, that's what happened.
Dumped 3 times here in the first half. Now he's got to really hustle, and he's pressured again. Good deep ball off for Mishmerheisen, incomplete.
That's big time for Kalamazoo, because they're giving that press coverage look on the outside for Mishmerheisen, and he beat it there. He straight up shoved the DB 2 yards off the line into the out of bounds. He didn't see him. That simply put all that happened. That should be easily completed nearing the 40-yard line, but here Kalamazoo now. Big stop. 3 and out after that kick return will be huge.
You can simplify the route tree and just say, hey, we're chucking this thing up for 18. They're looking that way the entire time. Flag's going to come out, probably an automatic first down. Bradman to run, got a ton of room. Gabe Myers trying to pull him up eventually. Now ton of time runs on the clock, 12.4 seconds. However, you probably decline this penalty and still have a shot at a field goal?
You're close. You're very close. I mean, you only need maybe 5 more yards to feel very comfortable.
Holding. Offense.
Really?
Oh, an offensive holding.
I'm shocked because
Can you believe it?
on this sideline, 8 yards downfield, the defensive back had Merschmeyer and just completely shoved him out of bounds. It was completely illegal touching on the DB. I'm not going to lie right there. That's a big, big break. But as we said, I like to say this all the time. When stuff's going your way, it's going your way. When you're doing something right, 50-50s turn into 20-80s. When you only have 4 penalties to 11, 114 to 18 in the yards category, you're going to get a benefit. And that's exactly what I think just happened.
I'm trying to remind. Flag Day is June 14th. Not supposed to be tonight. They're just going to run a draw. Jackson Cook looking to pop one. It's cleaned up by Jackson Mitchell, and that should take us to the half. Whoa! What a first half. Sean, could you possibly have picked a better half of football?
No, we saw everything. We saw a 64-yard touchdown get called off. We saw big plays scrambling from both quarterbacks in black and orange, in nickels and scooping. We saw Calvin put up one heck of a fight, but really to shoot themselves in the foot. 12 penalties for 124 yards is not going to win a football game against anybody. It doesn't matter who you're playing, what level you're playing. All you got to do is tighten that up, and I think we're in for one heck of a second half.
Did you know that Lucas Hannafin and Jonas Spates were going to get fed? Yes, absolutely everyone knows. Spates, 2 touchdowns, one of them with the incredible improv job, the 35-yarder being the longest. Lucas Hannafin with the 37-yarder as well. And the one thrown by Scoopin to cap off that drive.
And that's,
huge.
That's big because Kalamazoo had 2 rushing yards.
Yes.
So to be winning this game and having 2 rushing yards, there's something on each side of the field. Kalamazoo, you look at it like this. We're up by 10. We have 2 rushing yards. We are just destroying the secondary. If you're Calvin, we're down 10, yes. We have 12 penalties. We have
an unreal number, is it not? Unbelievable.
We have more penalty yards against than I think anybody could have even imagined you having in the game.
Yes.
Let alone it's the first half.
An entire 4 quarters. Yes, fully agree.
And that's the way you got to look at it if you're both teams here. I mean, there's adjustments can be made on both sides, but it's kind of a chess match right now with these 2 teams. And if Calvin doesn't have the 12 penalties for $124, we're probably looking at a 1-score game, but that's the difference right now in this one.
A vastly different game. You absolutely nailed it. Tanner White and Sean Massa with one of the most thrilling first halves maybe that we've ever brought to you here on Angel. We talked all about the history with Coach Zorbo before the game. We'll hit on it and reiterate it throughout the rest of this one as well. For now, we're going to step away for the half. If you've been with us so far, what can we say but thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed truly one of the most spectacular games you'll ever see here on Angel.
To the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics.
Hey folks, thanks for your patience at the halftime break. We're all fueled up. We hope you are too here at home. Kalamazoo leads 20-10. Importantly, as we just talked about before coming back on air, Calvin is going to get the ball and a huge opportunity is in front of them. What do you foresee coming in this first drive?
Yeah, with the way Calvin kind of exploited what they saw. They took a few drives to kind of warm up. They got the looks from Kalamazoo. They didn't really change up a lot on the defensive side. Then you started seeing those chunk plays. You started seeing 7 yards, 8 yards per carry even from this Calvin offense. You start to see their young offensive line just command and control, seemingly. So I'm really looking for them to keep the run going. I'm really thinking the first 3 plays on this drive, at least 3, if they're all net positives, are just runs through the tackles and just trying to kind of collapse the safeties, collapse the linebackers, and open up on the outside, because we saw the last 2 drives of that first half. They had a couple long balls that were thrown, and they have the opportunity to do the same thing here. This is a very important drive, not only for the Calvin offense, but Kalamazoo defense. Can you prove that you can finally stop them?
Rushing yards, not pretty on either side. 41 net rushing for Calvin, 2 for the Hornets on 13 carries. Kind of shocking, right?
I was gonna say, one's better than the other for sure, but they're both not very pretty.
Yeah, indeed it is. Emery Roberts to get us kicked off here for the second half. Fielded by Russell Dixon again. Couple of jump cuts with some patience, close to the 25. Now he's dragging a pile. Oh, man, that's how you finish.
He's had some great returns, and the patience is really sticking out there on the Calvin end. And, I mean, everyone just kind of pushed him forward. And that's a little momentum. It might not have got you a lot more, but mentally it's kind of a rah-rah play for your guys out there. And as we talked about, the importance of this drive for the Calvin Knights.
Cronin, Russell, Dixon starts it off with another good kick return. Officially gains 26 yards to the 29 of the Knights, brought down by Zach Sykes. Start with 4 wide receivers. Running back off to the right. And Bradman sneaking the triple option in. This is going to hit for a first down plus more.
Way too soft. Way too soft on that. I'm surprised they didn't just go immediately to the slot. That was 10 yards of cushion, but I actually like that play call, that play design. And once again, Kalamazoo playing soft off the line, and now they're going to show a press, see if they maintain that press. But when you play soft, Calvin's exploited it so well.
Very first triple option we've seen worked just about to perfection. Had the receiver from the tight split, Hogan. They always show him as if he's going to be a tight end there. And a flag before we get started. Back him up.
Typical right there. We're going to start this half on the first drive, no more than a minute in. The exact way we basically ended it. 12 penalties for 124 yards. That's a lot in the first half. That's a lot for probably nearly 2 games worth you're looking at right there in the first half of penalty yardage.
Yes, say that again. 2 games worth in a single half. Say 4 times the rate you'd expect.
And you're in the game.
Despite it all. Play fake. Bradman to take the shot. He's got a man in stride. Caught Mishmerheisen.
Ew. The route was nasty. That's the only word you can say right there, because the DB completely were looking at just a hitch. They were looking at the hitch because that's what it's been all day. He fakes it. He goes and had him by a step and a half. And if that ball's thrown in front of him, it's a house call.
Yeah, it's still a huge chunk anyway. You cut it there, went for 34. And the first down run, pretty good.
Yeah, if you could take 1st and 10s and just kind of automatically make it 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, that opens up so much for your offense. Calvin has just controlled the trenches ever since the first drive ended.
Hornets just subbed at corner. They go Ronnie Spencer for Alex Pepin that way to guard Mishmerheisen. Tough assignment. Hand off with the jump cut. Now a little reversal of field, and that shook him free for a first down and more on that right edge.
Yeah, just got by the defense right there. Jackson Mitchell, the safety, in to try to make that tackle. Couldn't do it. Jack Duggins was there. Bounced off both of them, and those are plays that they're negative yards. They're right there. All you got to do is wrap up, and then this Calvin offense is just feeling it.
Hogan from that deep alignment, looking like the tight end. Now they pump. Bradman got a lot of time this time to chuck it to the end zone. 3 guys there. He laid it in perfect. Touchdown, Luke Mishmerheisen.
I mean, we talk about all the time. You have a 6'7" receiver. What does that say to you as a coach? Hey, let's throw the ball in the corner of the end zone. Give our power forward a chance to make a play right there. They put it up to the rim, and he came down with it. That's a perfectly placed ball because, honestly, if you're Chase Bradman, the way you're looking at it is, I'm going to put this where the kids can't touch it, and the kids couldn't touch it. Only the grown man could.
That is a dunk. 2-hand flush. And a really quick drive, too. 2 minutes, 19 seconds off the clock.
And I said to you, I think Calvin can really take this ball down and score in 3 minutes. Well, it took 3:19 for them to find the end zone.
Now movement before the extra points. Marcus Petty with the Hornets. He's pointing the other way. Get the announcement.
False start. Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty. Replay kick down.
Make them think a little bit about the extra point here. Now, they had been perfect on the day. Maybe shouldn't have said anything, right? But coming in, they hadn't missed one for this season as well. 16 of 16. Well, we'll find out with a slightly longer extra point coming in a moment.
That missed extra point by Kalamazoo is shaping up to loom large.
It definitely could. Ruffino smokes this one. That's roughly onto the baseball field back there, Woodworth.
And if that mixed extra point doesn't happen, it's 21-17. You're feeling good. It's still technically a touchdown game. It's 20-17, just like that. Calvin, 3:19 to score. That's at will. If you can move the ball, we saw Calvin. We had a 19-play, 92-yard touchdown drive for their first score. Start from the 8 in a moment where you think Kalamazoo's got them pinned. They got nothing. Just like that. Next thing you know, it's a long drive. It's a near 8-minute drive. They're downfield. Then they go, not a lot of plays, not a lot of time, but a lot of points on the board, simply put, if you want to lack of better words.
You nailed it. It's officially 5 plays, 66 yards. The chunk and the touchdown, you might imagine Luke Mishmerheisen. You just see it on paper. You say, no, he's not 6'7", 222. Wrong, sir.
And you're not wrong, because you're seeing him out there, and you start thinking maybe it's 6'5 and a half, 6'6.
And they round it up, sure.
And they round it up, but when you press them and it's one-on-one against a 5'11", 6-foot DB, you really see that difference, and you really see, all right, they got a basketball player out there, and simply put, he's got 40 inches in the vertical department.
Yeah, there's nothing broken with that, so you don't need to fix it. 3 touchdowns on the year for him. Kickoff fielded by Hannafin at the 12-yard line. Picks up some blocks from Garrison and others. Just a bit beyond the touchback spots.
Kalamazoo's got to have a drive here. That's the only words possible. Calvin came out of the gun, and they came out firing from that locker room. If you give them this ball back, especially, heaven forbid, a 3-and-out fashion,
that could get very interesting and flip around real quick. Now, we just heard over the PA, Josh Nichols back in at quarterback.
it's pretty interesting. Both of them have had great games.
Yeah, he got no complaints from anybody. They'll start with Sheldon Riley on the ground, first carry, following Munger, and a good first down run, maybe 6.
Nichols is down, though. He was taken down on the fake. If he didn't get rid of that ball, he was slammed to the ground. He was slammed, luckily without the ball after the handoff, but he was a little ginger getting up. We'll watch that.
Yeah, you could see scooping again, and then maybe we would know why this time. In split backs, motion out Clark. Nichols to loft it up that sideline, incomplete on the wheel, looking for Hannafin.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the look so many times. They want Clark on the flat, but right there, Calvin with a great adjustment. They sent a linebacker along with the motion. Every time they've run that split backfield motion out from the left hip, it's always just completed for 5 yards. But they 1v1 a linebacker to a receiver, which isn't necessarily ideal, but it does a job.
Mario Pomorski, the freshman right tackle, might have a tough assignment here, showing pressure that way, and they bring it. An all-out blitz. The hip is hooked, and another penalty via first down coming.
That's the 4th for a first down. That's the 4th penalty that results in a first down. To put that into perspective, Calvin is 4 for a first down. Kalamazoo is 4 all game in general. And the yardages aren't even close on those two. The 4 for first downs, if my memory serves me correctly, was 2 offsides and 2 PIs. That's probably 50, 60 yards. Kalamazoo has 18 penalty yards.
I'm glad you let me say penalty via first down versus the other way around. You didn't say anything, and to that, I tip my cap. It'll happen to the best of us. You go back in the film session, you have things to correct, of course, even up in the booth.
They're playing soft in the slot. Could see a quick one.
Run Riley that way with a bunch of bodies. Riley popped out of the pile. A huge chunk on the ground.
I mean, their longest run before that was 6. And then you get that one. Put in perspective, they have 8 rushing yards before that play. That is absurd. You finally get one to break your way. It happened. Now you just got to keep on moving the football.
Vastly outgained the rest of their offensive rushing output for the night. 1st and 10. Little twitch. No call there. Riley will get it again, like you might imagine. Diving forward, another great first down carry.
I think they're going to give them 7 on that one. That means 30 yards the last 2 runs, because that one was 23 on the big gainer. That's back-to-back runs that are both longer than the longest run in the first 2 quarters and change.
Wild when you put it that way. 2nd down, 4. Trips to the field. Now they'll motion in Clark to set up as the number 3. Clark coming under. Nichols going over the middle. It's tipped. Incomplete. Sometimes you got to have those tips, the DBs, right?
Yeah, I think the officials missed a flag right there. They ran a pick play, and there's a little bit too much contact over the middle on the crossers. Luckily, Nichols, that one isn't in the hands of the defender, but you're also pretty lucky if you're Kalamazoo. This is still 3rd down and short.
I saw what you saw from Clark as he sort of hooked up in the middle of the field. A little bit of contact to him. Now on the 3rd and short, they're going to give for Riley. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Oh, a flag at the end. Maybe a couple. Should this be against Calvin, they'll give away another free first down.
Be their 16th penalty of the game. The 5th for a first down. Oh my goodness. You can't make this up.
No, absolutely not. It's the defensive tackle, KJ Harp, from the nose spot. And still he's sticking out to me. His first step, lightning quick. He can push the pocket from the interior. You know, I got to get into the defensive film stuff a little bit, right? I play defensive end. And that is a huge mistake, too, from Harp.
Yeah, I mean, you're just gifting yards. That's over $150 now in penalty yards.
Almost impossible sometimes to win giving it away like that. Nichols has plenty of time. Still wants to launch. Now to Hannafin! He sprawled out and caught it again.
Two flags in the play, though. And they came on this short side, and there's also a man down from the offensive line, but both those flags came on the near side on a zig route. I want to see what they say because it came on a zig route from the receiver. I couldn't really make out a number through the barrage of bodies. It might have been Clark again. I'm not going to lie, but there was contact right here, and it looked like it was outside 5 yards, but it looked like it was a push on the misdirection by the receiver. It's just which way do they give the ticky-tacky hand fighting?
There's so much to sort out here. Holding defense.
It was that same exact play, though. It was that route from Nate Clark, and they give the hands, the wishy-washy push and play. They give it to Kalamazoo, and those kinds, there can be 50-50 in a way, but they can also just be this way. Hey, one team has 16 penalties for $159. You think the officials are going to give them any leeway on 50-50 handsy calls? No.
Never.
Absolutely not. It's a 50-50 call in baseball on the edge of the strike zone when all day your pitcher's been wild. You're not getting it. You're not going to get that if you're Calvin. And you have to learn that. You have to know that you're not going to get those. You just can't do it.
And at the end of it, Hannafin with another one of the most absurd adjustments to a ball you'll ever see down in that corner.
Yeah, and give credit where credit's due to Nichols right there to be able to roll out of the pocket, pick up his eyes, and look across the field. I mean, it was perfect from Hannafin and from Nichols to know where to go. I mean, it's just playing backyard football. You get out of the pocket, collapse play, all routes are taken down. For a receiver, you find open turf. That's all you do. It doesn't matter where it is. If it's open, no one's there, you have to be there. And as a quarterback, you have to anticipate it. He anticipated it perfect. Let him, because when he threw that ball, he was in the middle of two safeties. And he threw it perfectly. The safety had no idea he was going to the open spot.
An elite improviser quarterback, two elite scramble drill receivers, everything on display. Nichols tosses the touchdown pass to Lucas Hannafin. CJ Aldred is the guard coming off. Something to think about. The Hornets probably going to have to fill in for a while along that offensive line. Could make it difficult to run the ball. Emery Roberts, extra point. He false started. Roberts left early.
Oh, boy.
Oh, but they're not going to wave that off. Fascinating. The PAT's good.
Well, back to 10. That's a big answer because we talked about a 3:19 drive on one end. Well, it wasn't too long of a drive on the other end either. There's still 10 and a half minutes left in this third quarter. We've already seen 7 from each side.
6 plays, 76 yards. Now, neither of these teams were ever strangers to scoring points this year, right? Kalamazoo came in averaging 36.3 a game, and Calvin over 46 a game. Now, we got a long way to go to hit those kind of numbers, but as quick as we're scoring right now, maybe.
And to talk about those penalty yards again and those penalties for Calvin. 16,
Please do.
16 penalties, $159 now. 5 of them have been for first downs on big third down plays defensively. Kalamazoo's only completed 14 passes. More penalties have been called on Calvin than the Hornets have completed passes.
One of the more heinous stats that has ever existed in a football game.
It is a stat of all time, and it's a stat you're going to look at after this game, and you're just going to think to yourself, it could have been completely different right now. This could be 27-17 Calvin if these penalties don't occur. But, hey, you play the cards you're dealt. Kalamazoo's done a great job taking advantage of those extra lives, those extra breaths they've been given.
A 2 QB system with 4 touchdown passes. Now Russell Dixon again. Raymond Cargill is going to earn himself some sort of recognition for the kind of performance he's putting on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's no way you're looking at this kid right now. Special teams defense, you're not thinking to yourself, do we start giving him more reps? Do we start giving him more snaps? Because I swear, every time there's a big play, big sack, big stop on the return, it's that man.
5 tackles, 2 sacks. That last one on special teams, huge. He was just a couple of weeks ago here versus Kenyon, celebrating a first career sack. Now that's totally out of mind. You got to start thinking, hey, I'm chasing all conference and those kind of things. Now split backs from the Knights to start. Play action, they cross them over, and they throw it back. Now that is another beautiful wrinkle, plus a cutback from Harding, gets a first down, and more.
That is Trent Figg at his finest. That's his background. Being a senior analyst of the offense at Oregon. That's straight out of the Oregon playbook last year at Bo Nix. They ran that play a lot. A split back, you go misdirection, your quarterback bootlegs over the right, and then all the gravity goes there, wide open in the flat to the left.
They'll go bubble. Hogan probably could have thrown that. That might have been a lateral. And the Hornets snuff it out. Dynas and Amarion Hall. I was almost convinced Hogan was going to throw that.
It didn't look to be just the bubble screen that we're used to. There's a feel there that Calvin wants to do something spectacular.
They could run it again on a similar look. Got 3 threats. They thought about the throwback the other way. Now Bradman wants to sling it, and they'll take the short gain that time. Another late flag. Back around the line of scrimmage.
I think it's going to go on Calvin again.
I feel we may have said that before.
About 16 times too many.
Ineligible player downfield, number 62 and 54.
Ineligible downfield. Ouch.
I'm going to go out on a whim here and say that ball was supposed to be thrown on the misdirection onto the near side of the field, and it wasn't. The offensive line was expecting it to. They were ready to go, and then they end up being illegally downfield when you try to improvise to the far side.
Setting up something, you mean like a throwback screen this way? Likely, yeah.
It's just something that can't happen. It was drawn up, and he saw it right there. He looked. Bradman looked at it and said, this is going the other way. This is 6. This is 34-0 the other way. Or 34-17 the other way. I got to improvise. And unfortunately, when you improvise and the offensive line is going one way, they don't know the ball's not coming.
Would you maybe like to see him just dirt that, chuck it at the dirt?
Chuck it at the dirt, Jared Goff style. It does it a lot.
Yep, and live to fight another down. Speaking of another down, 2nd and long. Flush, broke, contain. Oh my goodness, did he fit that into Hunter Hogan? He did.
Wow, the frustration is going to settle in for Jones right there. We've had about 3 passes that have been complete from Chase Bradman that we've said that's 6 the other way. There's one.
Yeah, Kamani Jones flashed in front of it. Dangerous as ever. Bradman to boot. Dynas to pull him up. Pulls it down, and Gabe Olivier wraps it up for a minimal gain.
It's a big-time tackle, though, from Olivier, because that's 10 yards on the first down if he's not there. What a job to not quit on it. When a quarterback scrambles to the other end of the field, you start thinking to yourself, a defensive end, why would I go? That's why you go, because he stopped, went back to your side, and you had a chance to make the play, and you did.
Yeah, you had the defensive end to that side, Jaden Johnson, trying to string it out, too. That's tough when you're doubled, and they roll that way. Bradman with the 5-step drop. Wants to step up, launch this thing. He was close to that line of scrimmage, but I think they're going to say that he got it off, plus the pass incomplete.
It looked like, from this point, that he might have been even out of bounds before he caught that ball, so I'm shocked we didn't see a flag there thrown, but incomplete.
Oh, an illegal touch. I didn't even think of that.
I thought he was out of bounds. I thought his momentum carried him out, and then he came back on the improvised route and ended up making the catch out of bounds.
Would have been illegal touching were he the first to, after establishing that out of bounds, come back in.
It looked like it.
Nonetheless, 3rd and medium, 6 to go. Chase Bradman waits, pumps once, complete Mishmerheisen. And one more flag for good measure back there in the backfield.
It's going on Kalamazoo. It's a late hit. They tried to double him and he beat it, and they shoved him into the bench.
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Number 9 to the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the line. Automatic.
They're getting Omarion Hall. Coach Zorbo gotta take this moment to take a little breath. The team just showed a little bit of frustration, right? Still your 2 scores to the good. If you make a stop here, you take the ball back, start driving, this is all forgiven.
You got to make a stop.
Bradman wants to take a shot for guess who? Oh, he ripped it out at the end.
What a play. What a play. What a breakup, because my goodness, it's not easy to do that. That ball is put where only the kids couldn't get to it, and wow.
That's Gabe Myers over there. He's just about to be the most recent victim of Mishmerheisen, right?
He was about to get head tapped. That's what was going to happen there. Mishmer's going to get up and just lightly tap the top of his head, because that was going to be crazy. And that's exactly what Calvin wants. They want one-on-one with their 6'7" and they just want, hey, here it is, go get it.
Now, interesting enough, going to motion Hunter again, sets up in the slot to the right. And the tight end now goes onto the line, couple of shifts. On a 2nd and 10, they put it on the ground. Haven't had a ton of success. Jaden Johnson's in there among others, and Jair Harden for a short game.
I like that play call from Calvin. They liked what they saw. They saw the motion, and they said, you know what? They're leaking away. The box is semi-empty. We've been running it well. Let's motion the tight end up, and let's make this a run. But that's a really good play by Kalamazoo, because when you can't control the line, it's tough to regain the control.
I was just checking to make sure that they did, in fact, take Mishmerheisen off the field. They did. They motion out Hogan here on another 3rd and medium. Bradman got a lot of time. And an open receiver, lunging for the end zone. Touchdown Knights. Seth Ritzma.
That's improvisation at its finest, and you got to be thinking to yourself, if you're Calvin, my goodness, did you find a gem in the portal that didn't play for 4 years at IWU? He comes here, and he's been unreal today. He's keeping you in this ball game.
Almost single-handedly at this point, right? 26 of 33 throwing, 3 tuds.
291. We have 7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
A lot of yards. Now, another important extra point coming. Rufino, been smacking those.
And then let's add an exclamation point to the end of Bradman's stat line. 291, 3 touchdowns. 78.8 completion percentage right now. Efficient doing it as well, and my goodness, is he spectacular out of the pocket. He found a home.
Yeah, he did. He's in the right place. Just as everyone else with Calvin is. In 2 years, 2 recruiting classes of about 60 apiece, they can field over 100 from 0. From owning no footballs, owning no shoulder pads. It is unspeakable what Coach Fig has done here.
And we've seen touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. I feel like the second half's going to be what defense can just find the needle in the haystack, find something to work, get a stop, get a lucky turnover.
One single turnover, right?
Force a fumble, do something, capitalize on one of the underthrown footballs by either quarterback. Because even though Bradman only has, count it, 7 incompletions, there's been about 3 of them where we've said those are easily interceptable passes that can be the other way and can be game changers. Can one of those finally be capitalized by either the black and orange or the white and maroon?
We got quite a while to figure it out. A ton of football left to play. 7:15, 3rd quarter. Evan Raymond, the kickoff specialist. Hannafin to watch it, and out of bounds again. One more time, this helps on the Kalamazoo side.
That'll work. I mean, extra field position is all you can really ask for. Looks like Nichols is still going to go out there, so luckily he is okay, it seems. Because you talk about, remember, he took that hit on a delayed handoff where the defensive end read it perfectly and just shedded the offensive line and made it dangerous. He's back out there, though, after getting up pretty scarily. He was slow to get up and then was not putting weight on his left leg when he got up.
You nailed it. Good to see him back in. Probably still have Dawson scooping hot for the certain packages. A bunch to the short side of the field to the right. Nichols throws quick and too hot. Now, is that affected maybe by Jaden Lewis on the rush?
Threw a fastball, needed a changeup. That's pretty much what just happened right there. But yeah, you said it right there. Had a rusher just staring him down. Nobody between them.
Yeah, Jaden Lewis came in quick.
Watch the pressure off the edge.
They showed it early, too, so you got time to sort of figure it out. Now Nichols pulls, ran that way. What a one-on-one tackle.
That's a children's book right there. It was read, every single chapter was read right there. That was perfect off the edge.
Caden Bolduck, the freshman from Reith's Puffer.
Don't even have to say freshman with Calvin. Almost everyone's a freshman, but I mean,
True.
It's sensational. Just every time a big play's made, it's a freshman. You got to keep that in mind with this Calvin team.
Yeah, Mishmerheisen being one of the huge ones, Hunter Hogan as well. So many big contributors. 3rd down, 13. Motion out Hannafin. Get it out quick for Spates. He's got a little bit of room, breaks one tackle. Ended up getting much closer than you thought he might.
He's short, but that ball was tipped. That's lucky to even find the hands of the receiver. That ball was tipped off the line. It was a low fastball once again. Probably needed a hang and change up to be perfect, but what a job by Spates to even do anything with that.
Did you see Nichols as well as soon as they motioned for the punt team to come on? He's a little bit dejected. He thought it was decision time in this area.
I mean, why not go up and hard count it? Calvin has jumped 2 times to give you first downs. Why not make the freshman defensive line make a play, basically?
You could still build this into the punt here if you wanted. They won't. This is the first time Calvin got it off. Pretty good rush. Speaking of getting off, the punt is drifting off to the sideline, and the bounce not quite what Kalamazoo wanted with Moat. This drive will start around the 32.
They sent the house there, and I don't think Kalamazoo was expecting it because they haven't done it yet. But all of a sudden, you look up, and there's 9 Calvin Knights, and you're just thinking, oh boy, this thing just needs to get out of my hand, off my foot, and anywhere in the air.
A lot of teams will do that too. You'll start with your hold-up style return for several of them, and then when you least expect it, sprinkle in the all-out block. Got pretty close.
They're soft in the slot again. I'd go quick.
They go triple option again. Great call. Pepin to just knock him out of bounds. Mishmerheisen.
That play call, man, that play design is just lethal. It's lethal every time. If you levitate, if you're a defensive back and you gravitate towards the middle of the field, you gravitate towards the quarterback keeper, Merschmeyer's wide open. If you stay on Merschmeyer, quarterback's got blockers. It's perfect.
Showing off coverage on Mishmerheisen this time. And now window dressing for Bradman to keep it. Slick little run.
There it is, exactly what we said. The same exact play. Not necessarily the same play, but the same concept on the other side. That time, the DBs decided to stay with the receivers. Wide open lane for the quarterback. I see the vision. Sorry, I see the vision with this Calvin offense.
Hey, I think Coach Fig does too. A guy with a lot of belief. Jackson Cook on the first down. He's dragging Dynas. That is rare.
He's got 5 touches now for 38 yards. Give him the ball. He's averaging over 7 a carry, and it just keeps on rising. You look at him with 4 for 28, and you think 7 yards per carry. That's got to go down. No, he's got 10.
Even that draw that he ran for the last play of the first half was pretty effective. Knights on the move again. Give for Cook again on the first down. He's still dragging Dynas of all people.
He just got 7 again. Does that hurt stop? Is it just automatically 7 every play? I mean, he is just seemingly at will picking up 7 yards.
The offensive coordinators aren't far from us. You know they're seeing what we're seeing. Right back with Cook. Olivier met him, along with another little swarm of Hornets, and it'll be close.
That's better. That's better from the Kalamazoo defense. It's 3rd and short, though. This guy has ran the football for seemingly everything he wanted to. Just give him the ball again if you're Calvin. You don't overthink a third and inches. Just give the ball to double twos on the right side hip.
Yeah, you thought they might, but the Hornets swallowed up Bryce Ballabuck and Corey Garrison.
Yeah, they sniffed it out. They knew. They were sending the house, and it looked like they wanted to rush literally everybody, and they did. Simply put, they did. I really think Calvin's going for this. I think they're going to keep the offense. It doesn't look like they want to get off. It's just what do they run here? I think they gave them the line of scrimmage. It's going to be fourth and about half a yard maybe.
I don't think Dynas was happy to come out of this game. I'm not going to try to read lips or anything, but they bring on Cargill now for a huge fourth down.
Keeper on the near side.
They're going to motion for some window dressing. Run Cook behind it with the lunge. Where's that ball?
He's short at the stand. He keeps it at the first. The keep was wide open. They didn't do it, and they elected us go to double twos, and Kalamazoo knew it. This crowd is officially awake for the first time since I think the second quarter.
Maybe the biggest defensive play of the day. Defense holds on a 4th and shorts. When for the entire rest of the drive, they got whatever they wanted on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's big. It bend, don't break, simply put. They were bending a lot, but when it came to the point that it mattered, they did not break.
Hornets offense back out to start at the 36. Not bad field position. Out of split backs. They hand it for Jaquez James and go backwards.
Yeah, they have not been able to run this ball. It's really simple. They were finally north of 30 yards. That one might take them to 30 on the dot on the day, depending on how much they give them on the loss.
The 123-yarder broke from Riley. Haven't seen anything yet in that area since. Back in split backs, though. Connor Bell flares out. Nichols to lofted on a wheel for Yankee, incompletes.
Yeah, he slipped. He slipped on the out. He had it, too. And I think it still might have been a little underthrown. I think the touch was a little bit horizontal when the receiver cut up vertically. But at the same time, they're trying to run that split back motion, and Calvin, ever since getting burned on it in the first quarter a few times, they've been putting a linebacker out one-on-one on the flat, and they've taken it away. That's all Kalamazoo wants out of that set. They don't want to air it out. They want a quick flat route for 3 yards, and they just haven't had it.
Yankee will set up as the number 3 receiver. Probably going to have a two-way go for him from the slot there. Something to think about. A smaller, shiftier receiver goes 5'7", 175, does Devin Yankee. Empty. Hornets going to try and chuck this. 3rd and 12. Rushing 3, and they're in there quick. But Nichols to loft it up for Zekman. Off of the hands.
What a play. What a play by Dylan DeHoop. Oh, my goodness. That's perfect. You turn your head. You do what you need to do. What do you do when the ball's in the air? You look at the ball. You get flagged when you don't. That's what's really come back to bite Calvin. And he did what he exactly needed to do. He looked up at the ball. He put his arm up. He got a piece of it, enough to deflect it away.
Would have been a career-long reception for Zekman. Couple of back-to-back huge stands. Punt unit on. Now they move Cody Wrigley up from that right back spot. And the rollout style punt this time. In fact, they inserted Jonah Spates to punt that. Spates got it off. Drive going to start around the 33.
Just as we said, this might be what defense can do something first. Well, that's a big stand for Calvin after a big 4th down stand from Kalamazoo, and now it's turning into a chess match. It's the epitome of sports.
I think a lot of credit to Calvin, too, to survive turning it over in opponent territory where it could have been, you know, Kalamazoo runs a bunch of clock, they eat up a bunch of field, and especially if they score a touchdown, you start to worry about the clock and things.
Yeah, and you got to be careful here. They're still going one-on-one on the edge. I don't love it.
Still Mishmerheisen out there. On the jet, they give for Hogan. Hogan with the pirouette of the century. Then he runs into Amarion Hall. There was more to be had from that. But the beginning part of that run was art.
He had a touchdown. If he bounces to the outside, he even had his quarterback blocking for him. When does that happen? When it happens on national television during college football game day or anything with the NFL, you hear people get excited. The quarterback's blocking. Oh, my goodness. He had it and just didn't use it.
Just like when Nichols threw the touchdown earlier. The first score. 2nd and 2, though. It's still a very positive play, all things considered. Gonna go with the bubble. Completes. And first down. Rather automatic.
One thing I want to point out, though, after that play, Hunter Hogan went to the sideline and just keeled over by the training staff. And now he's out of sight behind the barrage of Calvin Knights on the sideline. You hope, if you're a Calvin fan and really a sports fan in general, you just hope he's okay, because he went over, and when I tell you, he just completely bent at the hips like he was hurting.
Yeah, that's another fascinating development. Bradman to boot. Now will launch into the middle of the field of Marion Hall. Get that out of here.
It's a pretty ball, though, from Bradman, but sometimes you just got to tip your cap, and that's what you got to do right there. That was just an amazing breakup.
Everybody I talk to about Amarion Hall absolutely loves this kid. They love his athleticism, his work ethic. Freshman from Jensen Beach High School in Indiantown, Florida. Long way from home. Well, had a pick six a couple of weeks ago. I'd say he's found his home. They show three receivers to the field. They'll run on the 2nd and 10. Jair Holden, we've seen a couple of crazy cutbacks. This could be another. Dragging people and a chunk on the ground. First down.
I mean, that's one of those plays where you watch it, and the minute he made that horizontal cut, I was thinking to myself, if he gets wrapped up here on the left foot, that's going to come back to bite him. He had a first. It didn't matter. That's risky, but my goodness, that boy can move. That's really the only words you can think of.
Jair Holden came in averaging just a shade under 100 yards a game. He's going to carry, follow a couple of pullers on a counter, and a big pinball game right at the line of scrimmage.
And he had a not so great first 7 carries. Those 7 carries for 20 yards. Now he's got 11 for 47. The math tells you that's 4 carries for 27 yards since then.
Likely to keep going back to him. They won't here on the 2nd and 9. And come back from Ishmerheisen. That's the most automatic thing I think that we've seen all game.
They don't have an answer. That's now 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. He averages just shy of a half marathon of yards per catch. They have no answer at all for him, and if they're going to want a chance to keep this lead through the 4th, they need to figure out an answer for 1-8. There might not be one. Let's be honest here. There might not be one, but you have to try something different than the look you've been giving them.
Ishmerheisen came in with a couple of touchdowns on the year. Now, Hunter Hogan, still out, had scored 4 touchdowns for the first 3 weeks, right? And 15 catches overall, 186 yards coming in. You take that all away, it might even dial in more the focus on Ishmerheisen, do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at this receiving core for Calvin. 8 catches for 112, 6 for 70, 6 for 67, and 2 scores. It's just so balanced. They just have that 3-headed monster, and Kalamazoo just hasn't been able to have the personnel to stop it, really. It's been almost whatever Bradman wants, he gets in the secondary. He has been spectacular today. And really, with all those penalties, the only reason that they are in the game.
Yeah, this could be even still a vastly different game if you just wiped out all of those penalties. On the Bradman note, 29 of 37, 315, 3 tuds. In fact, the longest pass play, only 34 yards, too.
Efficient. Efficient is basically what you'll say.
Yeah, surgical. 1st and 10, knocking on the door of the red zone. That ball's tipped! Could you imagine if Cargill intercepted it?
I mean, with the game he's been having, that just seemed like with the momentum carrying him off the tip, he could have caught that in stride and been gone, and that would have been magical in front of this crowd. To start the 4th quarter, first play up 3 with 14:56 left now, and you house it on a promising Calvin drive just to kind of gut punch the Knights.
And it was Amarion Hall, the primary coverage defender, stepping up, asked to cover Ishmerheisen. Nobody's going to pity you. Run Jair Harden on the first down. Hall to clean it up from the corner spots. I love corners who tackle.
I mean, corners who tackle are one thing. Corners who can make open field tackles on a running back that's doing almost everything they want, like Harden, that's even better.
Amarion Hall is breaking out right in front of our eyes. 3rd down, 7. Bradman got a lot of time. And over the middle, Mitchell off of the fingertips, a really, really late flag.
I knew it. I knew it the minute it happened. He was dragged down in the flat. That football wasn't so badly thrown. It was just that the receiver was mauled. And that's going to unfortunately come back to bite Kalamazoo. That's a big 3rd down stop. This game could simply just maybe be tied at 27, but now I think Calvin's going to get an extra breath.
And you go right back to Harden, right?
New set of downs. They're just going to feed the horse. That's really all you do here. You feed the horse. Maybe you throw in an RPO or two, see if your receivers can get outside leverage, going to the numbers, going to the sideline. But I mean, we talked about Calvin gifting extra lives. Well, there's an extra life right there, and it's a big one because 27-27 is a lot different than potentially 31-27 you trail.
Absolutely. We're into the 4th quarter, 14-27. Bradman rolling. Got Hogan underneath. Didn't take it. Now he's crushed. Dynas picked it off.
Listen to this place right now. The energy was just sucked out of the building after the penalty. Well, the energy's back, and that's massive. They forced Bradman. They hit him as he threw, and that's a mistake. That's the first mistake we've seen from the 5th-year transfer.
If ever there was a beat in this game that totally changed the field, Carson Dynas, the heart and soul for the last 3 years here, missed half of the season last year with injury. In those 5 games, his impact huge. Still should have been, in my opinion, having seen a lot of the finest players in the MIAA, an all-conference selection. Was not. Now, the resume, let it speak for itself. Sweep for Riley. All right run on the first down.
You just got to answer back with a nice drive, an elongated drive. Could you imagine an 8-minute to 10-minute drive that ends in a touchdown? Just how much that will wear out Calvin?
The words you spoke are poetry. That is exactly what you want to see. You have Andrew Durbin, the tight end in the slot to the right now. Could be thinking a wrinkle. Maybe motion Durbin in as well to help with the blocking game possibly. 2nd down, 7. Durbin pointing out the blitzer his way, showing pressure. They back out of it. Now Nichols to throw the 2nd level throw, incomplete for Houle.
It was low. It was too low, and it's just a miss. He's had 5 misses now, if I can count correctly, but he hasn't had one all half. There's a costly one. If you get that pick in the red zone and then just go 3 and out, cool.
Yeah, what for, almost?
Almost what for? Almost like saying, what was the point? To take 30 seconds off the clock? At the moment it stands at 34?
Say you had taken the field goal off, it helps a bit, but yes, you'd love to mount a drive if you can figure it out on a 3rd down. Survive, advance. The Hornets playing for 4-0, playing for all these levels of history.
And they moved.
Yes, they did. Back them up.
And this Calvin side is loud, to say the absolute least. I mean, they fill up the away bleachers, and then to our left here in the press box is just all Calvin all day, and my goodness, they might not have more numbers than Kalamazoo, it being an away game, but they're letting their presence be known.
The standing room only. This is something absolutely new to Kalamazoo all time. Everybody beyond and to the right of the visiting bleachers. All Calvin everything.
I have never seen an atmosphere like this from a non-Big Ten Division I type game. This is crazy.
You said it. 3 receivers out to the field. Nichols standing in the end zone. Flushes left. Nichols to take the shot. A stumble incomplete from Spates.
Turf monster from Spates. The ball was thrown into the open turf, which is all you can do right there if you're Nichols improvising. And Spates knew he had to get an extra step or two, tried to extend the stride more, and unfortunately Turf Monster bit up and got him. And it's a big stand from Calvin, though, because, yeah, you erased a field goal off the board, the potential tying field goal, but you're going to get it back with probably good position. They're punting out of their own end zone. If you can get a good return, you could be on the plus side of the 50. easily.
I don't always do shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Would that have been the finest improv of the entire day where we've had a number of fabulous ones? I think so.
Yeah, I'm still going to give the cake to the one touchdown. Oh, boy.
Punts off low. The roll is much, much better. In fact, flips the field fantastically.
You know, it wasn't pretty, but it did a job. You're not going to look at that film and say, you know what? Yes, but you're going to look at it and you know what? I like the result.
They don't start on your side of the field.
That's important, big time now. And we talked about after 3 straight drives of 3 straight touchdowns open the half, the chess match that was brewing. Well, it's been a chess match back and forth, but if you're Calvin, you move the football so well. Your senior quarterback, your 5th-year grad student QB made a mistake, his first of the game. And then you still got the ball back just like nothing happened. Just a minute was taken off the clock. Do it again.
Lot asked of the Kalamazoo defense right now. They're stacking up Jackson Cook. He's pushing piles. That's nothing new.
Big stand right there from Cargill, though. He was the first to it in the gap. He was the first linebacker there, and he stood his ground.
Perhaps we've said that before.
I mean, that's the one name that you look at today and you go, that's an unsung hero, at least on the defensive side of the ball. You wouldn't look at this depth chart and think to yourself, he's going to have a huge game. Well, he has.
The jet faked to Hogan. Bragman is crushed by Cargill one more time.
And, I mean, now you're right back to it. It's a big 3rd down if you're Kalamazoo, and it's going to be huge. It looks like 3rd and maybe 3. It's a late spot, but it's big. If you can just get the ball back again, Calvin does have a chance to pin if they give it away, but it's huge.
Call it 3rd and 4. They motion out the back. Cook. Want to throw it quick. Broken up. Amarion Hall. This is the breakout of the entire day to me.
And then I can't say the word, but bad decision from Bradman. He had the flat. No one is in the same zip code as the flat. And Kalamazoo's been taking it away all day. They didn't right there, and he turned to the slant. Oh, they're going for this.
Wow.
This could be it. This could be literally the game.
We'll find out. Now they're going to show the quick kick again. Remember, they completed a pass last time. Ball is shanked. They're going to get a handful of yards out of this.
Maybe a Baker's dozen. Maybe a Baker's dozen. That is just disastrous. Low snap. Oh, boy.
I don't think that's how you draw up the quick kick.
We talked about Calvin shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties. How about shooting themselves in the foot with a red zone pick and then a botched punt when you have a chance to just a 40-yard punt could pin them? It's been back-to-back drives that have ended in not disaster, but not ideal either. I mean, interception in the red zone, yeah, you could classify that as disaster, but botching a punt is just, ow, that just stings.
It really does. Now, Kalamazoo side, what are you prepared to do about it? What are you going to do to win the game on this drive? Your offense has the chance to do exactly that. Do you agree?
You need a 7 to 10 minute drive. It's not going to be 10 most likely because of where you're at, but you just need something. This is where, as an offensive coordinator, as an offense, you have to look at yourselves and say, this is what we're made of. We have a sold-out crowd here, a standing room only. It might be, if we can get the final numbers, maybe the biggest crowd this place has ever seen. It's got to be up there at least. We don't know the final number, but
hey, we'll talk to Steve Wydeen, the student information director.
I don't think you could package in more fans here.
To capacity here on Angel. Tonight of all nights. Why not? Everybody that's been with us the whole way through, we just got to say thank you again. Thank you for sharing in all of the many levels of history that we're making today here in the MIAA. Three wide to the right. Solo receiver is Braden Lavis. A little pitch. And to Connor Bell, good gain, close to the first down.
Connor Bell's been a big play guy all game. I like what they're doing with him. He hasn't been like one of the go-to guys offensively, but when they give him the ball, it seems like he gets a pretty big play every time. The only touch he had before that was that 33-yard catch on the 4th down where he didn't even know it was in his hands.
It's just so tough to ask those running backs to be split out wide and make catches like receivers. On the second and short, Nichols held it. Now flicks it up the sideline and over the head of Lavis, incomplete.
Yeah, that was just thrown away. It's smart, but my goodness, just these defenses have turned it up. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And now another big third down. I mean, you can't say it enough. If Calvin can get this back again, I mean, we're talking. We're talking business here if you're the Knights. This is massive, but I like the stack set. I like stacking your receivers on each side. Soft, quick screen.
Lots of places to go with it. Nichols to distribute on the 3rd and 4. Nichols waiting a long time, overshot. And I see what you're looking at on the other side of the field, Braden Lavis.
Had a touchdown. He had a touchdown. He was moving to the left. The route was running on the right, but if he looks on the other side of the field, which isn't easy to do as a quarterback, you're not sitting here saying, oh, you missed it. What are you doing? It's not easy to do, but if you pick up your eyes and you can see it, you had a horizontal 45-degree angle touchdown right there. That would have been insane if you just flipped the field and go just basically onto the Calvin sideline right in front of him and say, hey, watch me trot in.
Braden Lavis' first career catch went for an 84-yard touchdown. It was the 3rd longest play all time in Kalamazoo history, believe it or not. Carson Moat back to punt. Snaps off a better one this time. Although that spotting of the ball afterward is never an exact science. Ooh, this has moved up to the 37. Field position not quite where I thought it might start.
I mean, but just this, you're Calvin. Your offense has kind of gifted Kalamazoo a couple chances to put the nails in the coffin, seemingly. Your defense has taken those nails out of the coffin and given you your 10th life. You have to take advantage.
11 minutes, 29 seconds. We're going to have a winner. Somebody is going to get the first win all time for this budding rivalry. Chase Bradman to start. Going to give for Jair Harden on the first down. Jaden Johnson and Corey Garrison in on the stop for the Nets.
I like the decision. You just want to kind of establish that run game to what it was. It's a good gain. I mean, 118 yards on the ground from this Calvin team today through to the 42 in black and orange.
Ron Harden again. Stacked up strong. A whole swarm, you might say.
Yeah, that's an interesting run from Harden right there. Kalamazoo showed pressure. They brought pressure through the middle, and instead of trying to cut back to the outside where there was space, he goes into the sea of bodies and just put his head down and couldn't get anything more. It's 3rd and short. Yes, it's manageable. He's gotten a good gain on 1st and 2nd, but here we go.
Jaden Johnson and Corey Garrison credited with the last stop. Motion in the tight end, maybe to run behind him. Run game could still be in play. It won't be. They want to throw quick. Great sit down at the sticks should be enough.
You just find that soft spot, and that's exactly what happened right there. That's perfect.
Tight end Carter Bilsma. He actually came in as the number 3 target. Now, this has been the Seth Ritzema breakout game, right, with the 2 touchdowns. But chip in from the tight end as well helps.
I mean, you count them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different receivers to catch a football today for Calvin.
And counting, likely. They're going to chuck this thing. Flag came out real quick, so there's a good chance this is backed up once more.
Yeah, and Bradman doesn't like it, so it's going to go back. You saw Bradman just kind of throw up the arms. He didn't like it.
Also a timeout. Something to watch. Remember, the Hornets down. We'll see if we can ascertain who it is as head athletic trainer Kathleen White heads out there. Holding is assessed, and they back him up.
Yeah, I mean, you knew it right away off the body language from Chase Bradman at that, and that's one thing you've noticed as of late is Calvin's showing visible frustration, and you can't do that in a chess match. If you start showing your hands, it really just feeds into the other side, and that's what Kalamazoo has had a good chance to do. The body language from Calvin hasn't been great these last 2 drives, despite the defense doing exactly what they need to do. Force 3 and outs. Keep your team alive. I haven't seen much from the offense that shows me that they really have confidence they can march down and score.
Kamani Jones, the safety, is coming off for Kalamazoo. Jackson Mitchell and Vinny Fodell now in at those two deep safety spots. First down and many, many yards to go. Call it 20. Motion to receiver, now a stop and return, and they'll throw it to him on the triple option. Amarion Hall! Are you kidding?
Yeah.
This kid exploding in front of our eyes.
Here's the breakout game. I mean, my goodness, what a way to get off that tackle, and not just any block. Who was blocking him right there?
Yeah.
Answer me that. We all know who it was, and to be able to get off that, it's impressive. That is impressive.
Mishmer Heisen, as much as he's been the number one target, the fact he also wants to get in there and mix it up. Just a football player, and oh yeah, massive. Bradman back, deep drop for Mishmer Heisen. Got him! Overshot.
And he burned him too. If he outstretches the arms, he might have it. He burned him.
There should be a tool, a physical tool that he doesn't have, Mishmer Heisen. I don't think there is.
He's fast. He's obviously has the frame. I mean, that's undeniable. Shown speed. He has a great release off the line too. He's lightning quick.
And dunked on a couple of DBs.
Could have been
Scary.
Could have been more than just a couple, but remember that great breakup in the end zone.
Yeah, that was Gabe Myers. They got Myers on him right now. They're booting the other way, though. Wanted the wheel. He's got to pull up. Olivier giving chase. That's dangerous! Did he thread it in there? Now, I believe it's caught, but a flag down. 3 flags, in fact.
What a catch. What a ball.
Yeah, I'm willing to call that the best ball of the day from Bradman. It was complete to Bilsma for the moment.
Wow.
I believe they got the center. Andrew Berg.
That's the 19th penalty. And I guess you can add that to the first downs by penalties. It erases a first down, so it kind of does the same thing, but they were at 18 for $174 before that. My goodness, that's 19 penalties, and you're nearing 200 yards.
Yeah, a nonsensical number. Correction, you've got Berg actually at the right tackle spot. I believe that's who they flagged. Center 69, Mike Liggett. They motion Ritzma in. Third down, Walmart parking lot. Bradman boots, running out of space. Flag down. It might have been the hook on Mishmer Heisen.
He wants it. He's saying, did you see what he did?
Now, if it's holding, this would carry an automatic first down. Another dramatic beat.
You couldn't write this script of what we've seen today, left and right. This is insane. Every time you think something happens, there's something out there that just says no. Something completely different is going to happen. There it is. That's painful.
Third down and 25 play. Everything is smothered. Mishmer Heisen really sitting down and wouldn't have gained, should the ball have come to him, anything near a first down.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. That's the first penalty for a first down from Kalamazoo all day.
We got 8 minutes, 29 seconds. I'm telling you, somebody's going to win this one. Jair Harden, good start. With a stiff arm, a strong one. One more for good measure. Close to a first down.
He just runs. It honestly reminds me of Isaiah Pacheco. He runs like he hates the ground. He runs like he's a freight train that's just going to go right through, and he does not care. He's been sensational.
The low center of gravity, 5'9", 200. You can see why he's gone for 100 yards per game on a team that rotates a ton of running backs. On the second and short, he's going to follow the tight end, Ritzema, and gobbled up. Jack Duggins.
I mean, yeah, they run a lot. I mean, you talk about 317 in the air with 43 passes thrown from Bradman. They have 3 different running backs that have carried the ball over 10 times. Led by, of course, Harden with 16 for 65. That's crazy.
That's the stable, though. That's what every offensive coordinator wants to have, and so few do. On the third and medium. Underneath and completes. Little slide route, and they do enough.
I mean, Calvin has been everywhere offensively. They're outgaining Kalamazoo by so much. If you showed someone just the offensive numbers, 317 to 212 in the air, 132 to 42 on the ground, you're thinking this is a blowout. But it's, of course, the 19 for 179 on the penalties.
And in that way, they're way, way behind. On the first down run, Jair Harden, another great jump cut. Gets loose from what should have been a tackle for a loss. You see, he sent guys from the Kalamazoo defense right into each other.
Look at the Bears' offensive line on 4th and goal last week. I mean, they were all on the ground. The jump step just completely obliterated the defensive line.
Wicked. Jair Harden, they're feeding the hot hand right now. Now they get it out on the bubble again. A pancake thrown out there. That is wicked. And that was Jude Clunder, who had just made the last catch.
Yeah, I mean, that's 6 the other way, or at least a breakup all the way, but that's perfect blocking on the edge. Calvin's starting to move the ball. They're starting to look confident. 6 minutes left. They're starting to ear towards field goal range.
I am going to wager they're not thinking field goal.
No, this is going to Harden.
On the 3rd and short. In fact, they're going to throw in that first window, bouncing off a couple, and look at the push from Berg. The right tackle. You can't teach that.
You just got to make a tackle. That's really a simple equation, but that's a perfect pullback from Bradman, who has really, really found his confidence after 2 tough drives in a row with the interception and then the punt from midfield.
Working with some tempo. Bradman to keep. Goes triple option again. Complete Clunder popped. Jude Clunder. And as this penalty flag comes out, is that back on the interaction with the quarterback?
I mean, with what we've seen today, I can't guess what penalty flags are anymore.
I fully agree.
They picked it up.
Yeah, they waved it off very quick, too. I think they're trying to help out the offensive tempo for the Knights. Calvin hitting the gas pedal. Jair Harden, another one of those signature jump cuts. And around the ankle, I love the fundamentals of that tackle.
It only took 4 Kalamazoo Hornets to get him down, but it was all started, simply put, by the X-Man Jack Duggins. That's perfect wrap-up on the ankle. It couldn't go anywhere. It was quicksand.
6'4", 220 for Duggins. Held on for dear life, and he wrestled him down. 3rd and medium. One more time. Go RPO. It's going to be close as he took that dive. Probably enough for the first down.
Told you exactly what it was going to be. Saw the odd coverage and said they're going to run a quick hitch route RPO. They did. He was wide open. The linebacker didn't bite enough towards the receiver. And, I mean, they're just kind of giving the receivers whatever they want. Clunder now joins the party with 6 catches. That's 4 receivers with 6 or more catches.
The balance almost perfect. Bradman might launch this thing right up to the goal line. Could you imagine the one-armed bear paw snag?
That would have been the hat trick, too. That would have been a hat trick. Tim almost just gave us a top 10, a SportsCenter top 10 moment. That would have been insane, and there's no other words to describe it.
Now looks like he's going to come off, at least for this 2nd down snap.
Yeah, we have to see now. This is huge. It's 2nd and 10. Still can get a first down without scoring. Look at the clock. There's 4:08 left in this ball game. You're up by 3. I mean, this is just, when you walked into this stadium today, you kind of said to yourself, you know what, I feel like this is going to be a classic. There's so many people. This parking lot is going crazy with tailgates from both sides. And, yeah, 3-point game, 4 minutes left, chance to tie it up or take the lead. It's crazy.
Has it lived up to the hype? Absolutely. Fake to Harden. Now the underneath in the intermediate is complete.
It's going to be close. I think he's a yard short, but, I mean, when you run the ball with the precision that Calvin does, I mean, might not say precision. They only get 3.1 per carry, but still 135 yards on the ground. When you run the ball like they do, you're not really worried about 3rd and 1s. Although, remember that 4th down stand. It was 3rd and 2, and they couldn't even pick it up with 2 straight runs.
Also true. You'll have a decision to make if this gets to a 4th down. You also probably, if you were going to score a touchdown, don't want to do it too quick, right? You'd like to get the first down here first?
You want the first, and oh my goodness, look at that set.
The pistol, full house. This is strung out on that right side. Stapleton couldn't track him down. First down. Lunge for the pylon short and inbounds. And a couple bodies down on the sideline.
I mean, yeah, you got a foot race going on, and you're not catching him. It's really quite simple. You are not catching that man. That was such an interesting set, though. They came out of the pistol, the full house, 4 total Calvin Knights in the backfield. I can't tell you the last time I saw that.
Yeah.
It's the split back is crazy enough because you don't see it a lot, and then you get 4. Saw it and said, what are they going to drop? And it's just a simple end around. It's just a simple, hey, go. 2 blockers in front, go get it.
And it was handed off to the backup quarterback, Hayden Sleegers, as well.
And
now,
he got it.
Yeah.
He got it.
Clearly it worked.
And, I mean, what kind of luxury that is, too. You talk about that. I mean, you're looking at this game right now, but you're also, if you're Calvin, the eyes are on the future. You have a freshman quarterback who's watching this scheme develop, watching the senior quarterback, Bradman, in his 5th year, getting that extra year just kind of to learn. If you're Calvin, you're thinking next year could be really fun with a quarterback who's simply put, getting a redshirt year. It's not redshirting most likely, but getting that redshirt year just mentally kind of. Getting ready to use this playbook that has succeeded. 135 yards on the ground and 358 through the air is crazy.
Fully agree. The first class Calvin brought in had an entire season to practice. They had their sort of quote-unquote red shirt already. Then they come in for this entire fall. Their degree and quantity of preparation for this game is unreal. It's something no other team will ever get.
And, I mean, they've done such a great job with the game plan presented to them, and dealing with the penalties to be in this ball game is showing you that they were ready, and they had a clear game plan, and I don't think the penalties took away from that game plan.
Now, probably Jair Harden territory. Under center for the one and only time this game. They're actually going to sneak it with Bradman. Now, they're not there yet. This does take time off.
Time off, gets you about halfway. Just do it again. Get under center.
In all likelihood, Kalamazoo going to run a reduced front. Everybody just leaning to their inside gaps, falling inside.
I mean, yeah, this is what football is, to be honest with you. They're going to come out, I'd assume, I formation, and just, I'd have to say you just push your quarterback forward again, but.
Yeah, you could do it again. You could.
It looks like they want to.
With the same motion. They will sneak it again. No signals.
He's short. They're saying he's short.
Wow.
Smart timeout, because you also got to remember you have that 2-minute timeout in 17 seconds. That is so smart because you're going to force them to run one more play. Then you basically just get a free timeout. That's a smart timeout call, but it's 3rd and goal from a hair outside maybe?
Literally, if where they have the football spotted is where this play is going to run from, you could sneeze and push the ball over the goal line.
All you got to do is tell them to fall forward. That's really what you think, but Kalamazoo's done a good job just pushing. They forced their way into the backfield. They forced their way across the neutral zone and said, hey, you got to beat us. You're going to go through us. You're not getting a free yard. Do you go back to just 3 straight tush pushes, 3 straight quarterback sneaks? 3rd and goal from the half-yard line maybe? I think the football is on the plane. I'm looking at it right now. It might be on the plane.
Yeah. Because you've gone with the sneak twice and haven't gotten it in, I'm half expecting Jair Harden to take a handoff and launch over the top himself.
What was even said in that huddle from Kalamazoo? I can tell you probably what was said. Go get a stop. This is huge.
Oh, I would have never dreamt they'd come out in shotgun. A tight end. Now they motion a receiver in. Bradman to throw. Touchdown! With 2:13 on the clock.
Gorgeous call. Gorgeous, gorgeous call. All the attention was on the receiver in motion to the flat, and who was wide open? I'll tell you who was wide open. Devin Yankee sitting there. No one in the same area code. All he had to do was put his hands up and catch the football, something he's been doing since he was probably 5 years old. And that might be one of the biggest catches of his life so far.
It's Billsma, the tight end. 1 yard out. And 2 minutes and 13 seconds. All Kalamazoo has left. Now, you've got the couple of timeouts, but you just had to use the one. Good rush on the extra point. It was drilled. But the Hornets made that one interesting. And still, we think back to a blocked extra point. Could you imagine how different this game would feel if they only needed that?
It would be just a field goal and 2:13, just getting 3. Completely a different game. Missed extra point. You always think to yourself, is it going to loom large? It's looming large because right now you're thinking, I got to get in the end zone versus, hey, if we get inside the 20, we can run some stuff. We can just kind of be content with maybe if our plays don't work to the end zone, we'll just take the field goal, go to overtime. And now, overtime's really out of the question. You're going to win or you're going to lose. And that's really what you're thinking here. This is, simply put, for lack of better words, what are you made of if you're Kalamazoo?
And who wants it more? Something I've asked before.
This is a program-defining drive for Calvin.
And arguably both sides. Kalamazoo has not started a season 4-0 since a team that's very near and dear to my heart, 2018, my freshman season, and that team started 7-0, sort of a team of destiny around here. Still Coach Zorbo's best record that he's had in 17 years here in Kalamazoo. All of this and more on the line, and there's only 2 minutes and 13 seconds left. Give me every bit of this. Raymond for the final kickoff, possibly, of the evening. 31-27, Kalamazoo offense, 80 yards from history.
Here we go. This is crazy. We're history either way. It's either Calvin comes out of the gate and they get a defining win in their first conference game ever against a newborn rival, or newborn on the football field rival, I should say,
well said,
in Kalamazoo. Or Kalamazoo is going to say, hey, it's your first year. Take a seat. It's our time. This is huge.
And they start empty. I'm so here for it.
Look at that sideline.
Yeah, they are up. Way up. 3-by-2 into the boundary. Now they go a little dummy call. Look back for another play. Nichols on the 1st and 10. Gonna get it out quick. Hannafin, and that's that fastball down and away.
Hannafin just fell. He just fell. Fastball's down and away, and you got to hit him in the chest. You just have to.
The one good news about any incomplete pass, stops the clock. You save that 2-minute warning. Could be worse. Trips to the field. Nichols rolling that way. The short one complete with some room. Going to get about halfway there.
Stayed in bounds. It's going to take us. Here's the 2-minute warning, and already out of the 2-minute break is going to be the biggest play of the game.
Yeah, if you should fail to pick that up, you're looking at 4th down
and you have
for
to
the
go
game.
For it. You have to go for it. You don't have 3 timeouts. You physically have to go for it. So do you start thinking to yourself, this is 4-down territory, obviously we have to go for it. Do we just throw it 3 yards, try to get as close as we can, maybe get a break and get it, and prepare for the 4th down out of the break? Maybe hurry up to the line and just go, try to keep Calvin on their toes, or you're trying to pick it up all at once? Because mentality is Dan Campbell type mentality. You know you're going for it. There's no error in this thing unless somehow, some way disaster strikes and the Knights come up with it, that you're not lining up on 4th down.
Fully agree. 31-27 after the 1-yard touchdown pass on the goal line. Took a lot of audacity to call play action there. They had run it and come incredibly close, but they got Bylsma wide open from doing so. It paid off. Now, all on your defense.
This place is getting loud, too. It's a little interesting. Calvin's making this not a friendly home field advantage so far for Kalamazoo on this drive. There's a lot of noise.
A lot on the line, too. It's 3rd down and 6 out of the 2-minute warning. Josh Nichols to keep writing chapters in the book for Hool. He drilled it in. Hool slips the tackle. Tyler Hool inside the 40.
They're going to say he stepped out right at the 41, I think, but my goodness. The adjustment, too, from Hool. He was running horizontal. That ball is just behind on the backside shoulder to be able to make that catch. Here we go. Now we got a ball game.
Who has the dagger in them? Hool for 30 and out of bounds. Nichols to keep slinging this thing. Steps up, drills it in. Hannafin flipped, upended. Good gain.
That's big. KJ Hart just said, I'm hitting your quarterback. That's exactly what just happened there. He walked into the quarterback, but Nichols with a great step up in the pocket.
Clark, the tight end, set off to the right. Second and medium. Nichols wants to loft. Hannafin! He did it again!
Oh.
Or did he?
He caught it. He caught it. He caught it, but oh my goodness.
That line judge looked like he was about to take it away. He scared me.
He looked like he wanted to do something.
Inside the 20-yard line. Nichols over the shoulder. Riley incomplete. Again, incompletion doesn't hurt so much here.
He'll take that. He was going to get decked. Trevor Martins was going to absolutely smoke him in the open field right there. It was a hospital pass, and luckily for the intended target, it was not a good pass behind him. But here's where this game stands. That extra point, it's the difference right now because you're not worried about it. It could just be tied. That missed extra point is everything.
And these 71 seconds are everything. Gun doubles. Nichols waits, lofts, end zone, Hannafin! Incomplete, got turned around, and a late flag too.
Is this going to be flag number 20 on Calvin? The offense is walking backwards. I think it's a hold.
I think it may have been called on Riley, the running back, for a late push.
You're right. Calvin can smell this. This place is bumping on the left of us. The right of us, I think you could hear a pin drop.
You nailed it.
The epitome of this bleachers right now is one side is tensed, one side is absolutely bumping.
It changes the scenario a bit, but you still know what you need. That end zone sits 33 yards away.
And it's third down. Gotta get to the 9.
Long ways to go. Nichols has pulled so many rabbits out of so many hats. What is one more? Nichols to step up, drill it in, and oh, he caught it! Are you serious? Tyler Houle.
Oh my God. That window couldn't have been less open.
That is not NFL open. That is not D1 college open. How? I will never know how he drilled that ball in. I don't believe what I just saw.
Someone call a timeout? Or are we talking about if it was caught or not? What are they talking about? They're talking about something. It was a zebra party. They disperse.
Game clock. Get a quick reset. Sean, your first game here at Kalamazoo College. How could it get better than this?
I want to come back. That's what this is happening. I want to come back. This is fun.
I think you've made a good choice.
This is a lot of fun. These two teams are just absolutely absurd.
May I say one more time, thank you for joining me today. You got Houle lined up in the backfield, something to consider. Now a big shift. Kalamazoo might just set up in their base offensive set. Indeed, they do. Under 50 seconds.
Hot hand is Houle.
They'll run Riley. You had time for it. He broke one tackle. Didn't gain a whole lot.
I think Kalamazoo's also content with making Calvin burn timeouts here. 40 seconds left. They're knocking on the doorstep. With the way Calvin's been able to get chunk plays, seemingly once every 6 plays ran on the offensive side, you don't necessarily want to give them the ball back with north of 30 seconds or timeouts left. You want to score, but at the same time, you score right now, it's not good. So make them burn something. I believe Kalamazoo called this timeout, though.
They did on the offensive side. Still down their starting guard in C.J. Aldred, been having to fill in is Kalamazoo, and that is a big hole, literally. Aldred going 6'4", 315.
This is, wow. I mean, this place is bumping.
39 28.9. Ball on the 4-yard line. 4 yards now from the Glory.
4 yards from 4-0. You really couldn't write it.
And maybe do you go back to 4? Hannafin been unstoppable ever from the moment he set foot here in the zoo.
They're semi-soft off him.
Nichols holds it. The out route for Spates. He leaps. Short.
What a wrap-up by Nowlin. I believe that was Nowlin on the play. What a wrap-up.
That ball's a long way from us now, as far as it gets out there, especially Spates on the perimeter. Timeout's called. We'll see if we get a reset on the game clock. Right now, it shows 21.4. In my mind, the run game is totally in play. What do you think?
It's tough. You're right there. 27 put on the clock. This is crazy. The way I'm looking at this right now, the Calvin defense has been giving you a lot of stuff underneath. They took it away last drive, but this drive it's kind of been the same. I'm looking to line up a tight end on the wing and hitch a block, try to get a flat. That's really what I'm looking at. If you can misdirection, take the receivers, maybe line them up on the right, receivers cut into the left, tight end chips and kind of tries to squeak by. That might have to be your first read here. It might have to be an RPO, though, because you might have to see what do the linebackers do. That could always be in play.
This offense has been known to be deadly with mesh concepts. They completed one to Hannafin on this drive that went for about 7 yards, the one where he got upended. Something to think about. You get some of the natural rubs there as well. That's something I'd consider as a play caller. John Kerjasic upstairs, the offensive coordinator, well, in his hands.
I mean, whew, this is nerve-wracking.
3rd down, goal to go. Just 2 yards will do it. Nichols got a flush, chucks it up, it's caught! Dagger! Jonas Bates!
Oh, boy. And here's the other side of the story. That extra point that was missed. One more. This extra point would make it 34. Calvin needs a field goal with 22 seconds, 3 timeouts. If they didn't miss that, Calvin needs a touchdown. But this one's important, too. You need to make it. A field goal ties it. This is huge.
I fully agree. That's why I didn't say anything. Emery Roberts had one blocked earlier. Hasn't missed besides on the day. Dawson scooping to hold. Oh, it's blocked! It's blocked again. That ball's live. The tackle there, unspeakably important.
I mean, you returned that. It's tied.
Yes.
That's massive. That would have been insane. But now Calvin, all of a sudden, this place erupted on the touchdown. It's still probably feeling it. Up by 2 with 22 seconds left. But a field goal, and we know that the Calvin kicker's got a leg. He's made from 41 this year, but we saw he had a 37-yarder, I believe it was, earlier in the game.
That was smoked.
That was probably good from 50, or at least making it too close for comfort from 50. So you're really looking at this as all you got to do is get to the 35-yard line.
It's Bradman and it's Luke Mishmerheisen for me. I don't think there's any other options. I think this is 3 deep shots. You either get him to moss somebody or you get a big chunk penalty.
You got 3 timeouts, too. The middle of the field's wide open. You could easily go for the middle field, 15 yards, timeout, clock it. That's 4 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, you can throw digs, posts. You can throw curls, whatever you want.
Kalamazoo calling those timeouts on the goal line saved Calvin because they were going to have to do it because I think they knew they're probably going to score here. They're really too close not to. But Kalamazoo calls it. They maintain the Calvin timeouts, and here we go.
The first hat trick for the career for Jonah Spates. 8 72 yards, 3 tuds. Emery Roberts, all-important kickoff coming. 22.1 seconds. Gotta field it. What a kickoff! Russell Dixon gonna lose time. A ton of time bled off.
They're going to reset this clock, I think, to 17, but that means they lost 5 seconds.
I don't know that you can hit that kick any better, but for if it sits on the goal line.
Smart, low line drive. They're not resetting it. 16 seconds now for Calvin. All right, here we go. It's program defining left. It's program defining right. Who's going to come out on the top end? Someone's going to leave here a hero. Someone's going to leave here not. That's the only words for it.
Hornets go with 3 deep safeties back beyond the 50. Rushing 3. Bradman, game on the line. He'll complete one short. Is that a tackle in bounds?
Well, there's going to be the timeout if it is, but still 9 seconds at best.
Even so, you make them burn one, it still helps you.
Out of bounds.
They will let him out. Should be, well, based on that spot, didn't gain near as much as we thought it might.
All Calvin needs is one chunk play, but at the same time, there's 3 high safeties. They are just playing prevent all the way.
Bradman for Mishmerheisen. Do you let this fly from 60?
What do
You've
you
got to go Hail Mary, right?
What do you have better odds of, a Hail Mary or a touchdown? Because I don't think you have enough time to run a quick hitch because of the return. If they don't return that ball, let's say it only burns 4 seconds instead of 5, 3 seconds instead of 5. They have 5.5 seconds on the clock right now. That's massive. I don't know. I mean, you really can't line up for a field goal here. There's no way. If they send out the kicking unit and they make it, that guy ain't playing at Calvin next year. I'll tell you that one.
And that would be one of the greatest kicks in the history of college football.
Yeah.
That would be 61 from here, maybe?
Tony Ruffino would not be playing at Calvin next year. He'd be getting some calls if they sent him out there. They're not going to. Do they go for the end zone and hope and pray, or do you go for something short and maybe play a little bit of schoolyard word?
Mishmerheisen, 6'7", 222 pounds. The #1 target the entire night. Likely will have one more shot at it. 3 DBs on the goal line for the game. Bradman scrambles, fires for the end zone. Short, picked off! Ball game! Hornets win! Hornets win! Mayday! Mayday!
And who else to do it? Who else to do it right there? That is awesome from Marion Hall. Who else but the guy that broke out the most in this ball game to ice it in front of a sold-out historic crowd? And you can see Kalamazoo, this rivalry, it may be brand new here on this gridiron, but they're waving goodbye to Calvin.
4-0 for the first time since 2018. I told you how much that means to me. You know what? My time here on the field is done. Their time, the Calvin Knights, is just beginning. What an unbelievable first game out for them. I cannot possibly credit them enough. Nothing I say would do enough justice. The work that Trent Figg has put in to put his team here, I don't have all the words for it.
To walk into this environment, to do it too. It's not like you're at home and you have that. You have the calming nerves. You walked into this place. You walked into the Hornets' nest in a way. No one walks in here and has fun. You don't walk in here and have fun. And they did. They walked in and they had fun, but not enough. Not enough fun. Scoring 31 is fun. Letting up 33 is not. But, I mean, 393 yards and 4 touchdowns from Bradman. That is absurd. This Calvin team put up one heck of a fight, but you got to give props where props are due to Kalamazoo for closing it out. When there's so many times in this game, you probably could have looked at Kalamazoo and said, it's over. You had the chance. You had the chance to put the nail in the coffin. You punted twice. But they just kept on fighting. There was no quit in either team, but there was really no quit in Kalamazoo when it looked like it was over.
The quarterbacks on both sides do huge numbers. Kalamazoo, with the 2-quarterback system, manages 5 passing touchdowns to, in my mind, 2 of the 3 best receivers in the MIAA. I truly believe Luke Mishmerheisen is going to be the #1 receiver in the MIAA. I think he's unstoppable in every way, showed it on every single target. But Kalamazoo's Jonas Spates, hat trick. 3 touchdowns on 8 catches for 72 yards. Lucas Hannafin, 2 of the more improbable touchdown catches you'll ever see, goes over 100 yards. And Tyler Houle, how did he catch that ball down by the goal line on that final drive?